assessor. Somebody who assess a threat being given against a person or individual. Kasama dyan, halimbawa, mag-iimbestiga ka, tatanong ka sa mga testigo, tatanong ka sa mga taong nakarinig tungkol doon sa banta, titingnan mo yung security detail niya, saan siya nakatira, etc. etc.
Yes, Your Honor. Just an experienced investigator, Your Honor.
As an experienced investigator.
Opo.
So sa ginawa mong pag-iimbestiga, whether or not merong real or imminent threat against the Vice President, sino-sino po yung mga naimbita nyo at na-interview?
Yung media personalities po, Your Honor, from late Saidin Reyes to Bones Magsambol to others, lahat po sila tinanong namin kung kilala nila yung kinausap ni Vp Sara, yung tao na kinontrata. Lahat po sila nagsabi na hindi nila kilala at wala silang alam doon.
Did you also invite Princess Maui, yung influencer na nagtanong kay VP Sara during that online press conference?
I believe so, Your Honor. I asked the executive officers back then at ang sabi nila sa akin, hindi ho nag-appear chief. So
you invited her pero she failed to appear.
yes, Your Honor. Yun po yung report sa akin ng aking mga executive officers.
Okay, so masasabi niyo ba na talagang merong imminent threat, real and imminent threat against the life of the Vice President based on the investigation you conducted?
Against the life of the Vice President, sir?
Yes, Vice President. Kasi siyempre, pag nag-imbestiga doon sa Presidente, dapat
Yeah.
imbestigan mo rin yung threat against the Vice President para patas.
Yes po. Precisely the reason po, Your Honor, kung bakit ho namin inimbitahan ang Vice Presidente, may separate ho kami na sulat noong December 2. In-inform po namin siya na, ma'am, iniimbestigahan din ho namin yung alleged threat against sa life mo at para ho ma-expedite ito, bigyan niyo po kami ng any information na pwede maging lead doon sa investigation namin. Unfortunately, wala ho kaming na-receive na information. Hindi naman po kasi nag-appear ang Vice President, Your Honor.
Pero nagpadala ba siya ng representative to represent her doon sa sabina ninyo na pinadala sa kanya?
Nagpadala siya po ng representative and then with a letter, sir. In fact, 2 beses po yung letter na yon. Yung unang letter niya, ang sabi niya hindi siya maka-attend kasi nga meron siyang office matters to attend to.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. Napakinggan na natin yan para mapaiksi tayo. So, sino yung representative na pinadala niya at ano na pag-usapan ng NBI investigator at sa kanong representative ni VP Sara?
I think it's Attorney Paul Lawrence Lim, kung di ako nagkakamali. Ang kumausap sa kanya, Your Honor, yung dating Director Jaime B. Santiago.
What was discussed during that meeting between Attorney, ano pangalan ulit?
Lawrence Lim po.
Attorney Lawrence Lim and the people from the NBI, particularly the investigators investigating the threat against the Vice President?
Yun nga, pinapaliwanag lang ho ng abogado, Your Honor, yung laman ng letter kung bakit hindi makakapunta yung Vice Presidente. And in fact, doon sa pangalawang letter, may sinasabi ang abogado na 6 years ago, may threat ang Vice Presidente. So, hopefully confident ang Vice Presidente na iimbestigahan nyo rin yung issue na yon.
So, 6 years ago. Pero hindi nyo ba
6 years, 6 months. 6 months yata, Your Honor, 5 to 6 months.
Alright, so
if I'm not
sinabi nung
mistaken,
representative ni VP Sara na 6 months ago, there was a threat against the life of the Vice President.
Yun po yung nasa letter.
Okay, inusisa nyo ba kung ano yung threat na pinagsasabi niya?
Nagkandak ho kami, Your Honor, ng open source. Wala ho kami na-validate, sir, na aside doon sa pag-aalis ng 75 personnel na security personnel from BPSPG,
Okay.
and then inilipat ho sa Manila, wala ho kaming na-validate nor na-confirm. Your Honor, insofar ho as Cybercrime Division is concerned, pero hindi ko po alam, baka yung intelligence service namin meron o kaya yung director may alam.
Last na lamang, Mr. Witness. Kasi sabi mo, ulitin ko doon sa 6 months ago naka-receive ng threat against Sir Life, ang BP. Sabi mo kanina,
If I may,
sabi ng abogado, right? So, kasi kung ako sa'yo, if I was the investigator, I would say, okay, ano yung threat 6 months ago? pwede ka bang magpakita ng may ebidensya? Pwede ka bang makita ng proof or mga witnesses na pwede naman interviewin to that effect for that?
Your Honor, ang nag-usap po, Your Honor, si the then Director Judge Jaime B. Santiago at saka yung lawyers, Your Honor.
So, hindi okay. Last na naman po. Now, can you say in certainty na talagang wala o meron threat against the life of the Vice President?
I cannot...
Based on your investigation, based on your experience.
Well, given na wala ho kaming validated information at confirmed any data, hindi ho ako makakapag-comment, Your Honor. Kailangan ko po yun.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo, Senate President Gatchalian. Thereafter, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano. Thereafter, Senator Judge Amy Marcos. You may proceed, Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Mr. Witness, narinig ko kanina nung tinatanong kayo ng prosecution na yung statements ni Attorney Zulaika Lopez ay walang kinalaman dun sa threat na ginawa ng Vice President. Tama po ba?
Kinonsider namin siya dun sa totality ng aming investigation. Then nakita namin na even before nung situation ni Attorney Zulaika, base doon sa attirances ng Vice Presidente, meron na ho siyang kinausap. So,
yan ang next na tanong ko. Ibig niyo ba sabihin na even prior to this video, meron na siyang nakausap na kinontrata?
that's the attirances, Your Honor. Ang sabi niya, huwag kang mag-alala, ma'am, sapagkat may kinausap na akong tao. Ang sabi ko sa kanya, pag namatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Marcos, si former speaker. So, nakita namin, may kinausap na siya. Even before the press conference was held on November 23, 2024.
So, base sa kanyang statements, sa inyong pag-aanalitika, meron na siyang nakausap na kinontrata.
Yes, Your Honor, and we believe na hindi naman ho magsisinungaling ang Vice Presidente noon kasi galit na galit nga po siya.
Meron dito sa mga tanong ng counsel ng prosecution na yung mga term na ginamit nyo, serious and real threat. Tapos meron din kayong sinabi na serious and threat is actionable. Nasabi niyo yun over the course ng mga pagtatanong.
Threat is actionable. I don't remember, Your Honor, using the word threat. Actionable threat. Your Honor.
Threat is actual, sorry. Threat
Opo.
is actual. No? So, I take this to mean na meron talaga siyang kausap na kinontrata.
That's what we believe, Your Honor.
And kung yan ang paniniwala nyo, dahil ito ay pagbanta no, sa ating Pangulo, may ginawa ba ang NBI na imbestigahan kung talaga bang merong nakontratang gagawa nitong banta?
Yeah, I think a couple of months ago may binuo ang aming direktor. Nagbuo siya ng task force to investigate threats against the life of the president. Kaya lang hindi na ho ako part noon, Your Honor. July 2025, nalipat na ho ako sa ibang region. So, wala na po akong idea. I think yung intelligence service namin at yung director, yun ho yung pwedeng makasagot, Your Honor.
Actually, yun ang next na tanong ko dahil tayo dito sa ating bansa, sanay tayo sa whole of government approach, whole of nation approach. Dapat merong whole of agency approach, in this case, the NBI. Ang tanong ko, meron ba kayo mismo o kasama ba kayo mismo doon sa pag-iimbestiga ng actual na threat, yung pagkontrata ng tao na pwedeng gawin itong threat na ito?
I believe so, Your Honor. The fact na mayroong binuong special task force.
At kasali kayo doon?
Hindi po ako kasali, Your Honor.
Bakit hindi kayo kasali doon? Ako nagtataka dahil kung banta to sa buhay ng ating Pangulo at nanggaling sa opisina ninyo yung source, dapat kasali kayo.
You mean, Your Honor, since nasa regional office ako, nung nagbuo ng task force, definitely itatap nila yung mga regional offices na meron ba dyan sa region ninyo na information o intelligence na ganito. Meron hong ganong practice, Your Honor.
Pero
But-
kayo mismo, kasali ba kayo doon sa nag-imbestiga nung actual, yung kinuntratang tao? At meron bang nakitang ganon?
Hindi ko masasagot yan, Your Honor. Ang makakaalam po niyan, yung aming intelligence service kasi nasa 40 po nila yan at ng aming director.
At meron bang ginawang coordination? Kasi ito, Pangulo no less than our President. Meron bang ginawang coordination kayo o yung binawang task force ng NBI kasama ang nag-coordinate sa NSC, nag-coordinate sa PSG at sa iba pang mga national agencies dahil Pangulo natin to
Opo. Yun.
Meron bang ganun na ginawa kayo o yung binuong task force?
Well, insofar as the cybercrime division during that time, ang focus ho namin is yung investigation dun sa threat against the life vis-a-vis yung November 23, 2024 utterances. Now, insofar dun sa sinasabi niyo po, Your Honor, ang makakasagot po niyan, yung intelligence service po namin, kasi ano na po yun para siyang deep dive intelligence gathering na po yun.
Ang punto ko lang naman is sa ganitong napakahalagang banta, ini-expect ko sa NBI na meron silang whole of agency approach na kasama kayo dahil nanggaling doon yung...
Yes, Your Honor. Yung binuho ng director na memo, nag-create siya ng task force, and then yung task force, tinatap po dyan lahat ng regional offices. Anong information meron kayo iba to dito sa central office?
Anong resulta nun? Last question,
Well,
Mr. Presiding Officer.
in so far as the NBI BARM is concerned, yung hawak ko pong region, meron kaming ongoing investigation pero hindi ho related doon sa kausap ni Sara. Meron kaming iniimbestigahan na nag-threaten sa presidente. As a matter of fact, na-identify namin. So, ongoing pa siya. Nag-aantay lang kami ng order galing sa taas kung ano yung guidance. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. Noted and entered in the record. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano is recognized. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Mr. President, susundan ko na yung kay Senator Win, Senate President. No,
Yes po, Your Honor.
yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. So, dediretsuin ko na, no? So, what we're trying to figure out here kasi is, are you really investigating whether my threat kay VP Sara and whether she threatened the individuals mentioned, including the President, or are you only investigating the video and finding kung meron siyang crime? So I asked Agent John Mark Kalilum, hindi daw niya kinausap ang sabi ko PSG, pero PSC na sila ngayon, di ba? Presidential Security Command. So
Opo.
did you speak to the Presidential Security Command about the threat on the President?
Your Honor, in terms of correspondence between the Presidential Security Command at yung NBI, ang makakasagot po niyan yung director. Kasi hindi ko alam kung may usapan nun sila. Meron ho kasi kaming tinatawag na need to know basis. Ang focus lang ho namin as...
The problem with your answers, witness, is that kung yan ang sagot mo parati, hindi mo inimbestigahan ng husto.
Hindi ho.
Because you didn't get the information from your intelligence. You did not get your information from the task force. You did not get your information from the Presidential Security Group. Did you talk to the CIDG?
Your
No,
Honor,
may you answer first. Did you talk to the CIDG?
no, Your Honor.
No.
Hindi.
But nag-imbestiga din sila, di ba?
I think so, Your Honor, kasi
Yes.
may statement sila.
So yun din yung tanong nga ng Senate President eh. Kung iniimbestigahan nyo talaga yung buo at kayo ang head at kayo dapat ang mag-imbestiga, bakit hindi nyo kinausap yung mga ibang nag-iimbestiga? Baka may alam sila na hindi.
Yung usapan po na yan, it's a matter of intelligence. Hindi ko alam kung may usapan sila o kung wala silang usapan with the director and with the
Yeah.
intelligence service, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'll take that answer, but I think at least alam nyo yung nasa isip namin and what we want clarified. Secondly, sir, all of you, yung apat, you signed the February 10, February 2025 NBI Affidavit of Investigation. Tama po ba, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor, our affidavit of
Tapos
investigation.
kasama dito yung verification nyo, basically saying that based on the records, tama tong lahat, no?
Verification ng ano po, Your Honor? Ng,
Sa dulo, nag-sign kayo ng verification.
verification of non-forum shopping, Your Honor?
Yes. And
Opo.
that, aside from non-foreign shopping, give me some latitude because to explain the question. we read and understood its contents and the allegations therein are true based on authentic records.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. So may mali ba dito? Factually, wala. Na-review mo naman to, no?
May konting typo dyan, which is
Hindi
normal
typo,
naman.
factual.
So far as I'm concerned,
Sino
lahat
po ba
yun.
nag-prepare?
Ang team po namin with the...
Tapos pinapirma sa inyo?
Hindi kami nagtulong-tulong mag-draft ng affidavit of investigation, kung ano yung legal basis namin, and then we agree, and we concluded na ito yun.
Then someone typed it up, then you signed. I asked this because nung tinanong ko kay Agent Mark John Calium, sabi niya, dito nakalagay conditional pero tingin niya absolute. You answered the same thing, it's absolute, pero dito nakalagay conditional.
The utterances itself, Your Honor, is what we called event-based condition, ang classification namin.
Okay.
Yun
So,
yung utterances, Your Honor.
I'll take that answer. I think mas factual yun. But sa paragraph 51, was VP Duterte ever Secretary of the Department of Justice?
No, Your Honor, Department of Education.
Nakalagay dito, to recall, VP Duterte resigned as the Secretary of the Department of Justice and she herself admitted that her relationship with the President has become toxic and she would imagine her strangling him and cutting off her head.
That's typo, Your Honor.
That's not a typo. A typo means yung department naging depart. Department of Justice and Department of Education are two different things.
Ang alam namin, sorry po.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Department of Education ang alam
Yeah.
namin.
So, kasi I just filed my counter affidavit sa ombudsman about yung obstruction of justice. Ilang beses ko kailangan basahin kasi nga, pag may mali, pinirmahan nyo na sinasabi nyo, no? But anyway, going back to the condition, you mentioned the case of SPO2 Hamata.
Yes, sir.
But isn't it true that the lis mota of that case was really res judicata and double jeopardy? Meaning, hindi tinake up ng Supreme Court whether or not a condition.
Yes, sir.
Di ba?
Opo.
Oh, so that wasn't on point. Kasi I was going to ask, is there a difference if the condition is legal or illegal? Di ba? So halimbawa, pag sinabi ko sa yung, pag natanggal akong Senate President, patatanggal din kita. Okay. Unang-una, legal naman akong tanggalin na Senate President. We always vote. There's nothing there. But if illegal, pag pinapatay mo ko, papapatayin din kita. Is there a difference if the condition of why I will act or why I'm threatening you is an illegal act?
Well, under the law, Your Honor, it says there that even the condition is unlawful. So, regardless of the nature of the condition,
Yes.
sir.
No, I want to get lang into your mind when you sign this because nga medyo novel yung case to for me. Even as a lawyer, I have to do more research and see anong ibig sabihin nito grave threats dito because you keep mentioning we keep mentioning here that this is the second highest official in the land and therefore pag trinete niya ang Pangulo. But who was the Vice President claiming na pwedeng magpapatay sa kanya?
Again, Your Honor, yun po yung reason ba't nag-issue kami ng subpoena.
No,
Gusto po namin...
sa reading nyo nung statement niya, sino tinutukoy ng Pangulo na mukhang mag-ooperate sa kanya ng Operation Romanov? Sinong pinagbibintangan niya?
Well, una, kung ang pag-uusapan Romanov, Your Honor, ang alam namin na unang nagbigkas ng Romanov ay si Mayor Baste yata noong January 2024. Other
yes.
than...
That's irrelevant. Ang question ko, in the mind of the Vice President, sinong pinagbibintangan niya na pwedeng magpapatay sa kanya? You said you investigated So mahaba na testimony niyo ni Agent John Mark. So of course, kasama sa investigation nyo, sino sa mind ni Vice President magpapapatay sa kanya?
Well, again, Your Honor, since wala kaming makuhang valid information...
No, hindi ba klaro sa video na ang pinagbibintangan niya is the First Lady, the President, and the Speaker of the House? So sabi niya, pag pinatay ako, patayin mo silang tatlo. So ang pinagbibintangan niya na magpapapatay sa kanya, yung tatlo.
I cannot answer to that, Your Honor.
Senator Judge Alan, kindly wind up.
Okay. But you have to be able to answer that because you're the one who investigated. And that is crucial. Why? Because part of your self-defense, so for example, if I know na sa senator judge, pag hindi ako bumoto one way or the other, papapatayin ako ng whatever, chief PNP or papapatay ako ng whoever. So pag sinabi kong, pag ako pinatay, si ganito nagpapatay sa akin. And then, ang difference, I don't usually give a threat na patayin mo rin. So could it be that actually that was the defense of the Vice President para hindi siya patayin?
I don't know the state of the mind of the Vice President.
But you've testified all throughout this afternoon that you went into her state of mind.
Based on the series of events, Your Honor.
Yes, and based on her statement. And her statement and the series of events is nag-away sila ng administrasyon. And the series of events is that sinasabi niya, pag ako'y pinatay, eto tatlo ang papatayin nyo. Okay, last question. Kay Attorney Lopez, tinanong din to ng Senate President ni Senator Tulfo. At di ko na itatanong pero napahapyawan ni Senator Erwin din to yung tungkol kay yung sinabi ni si Attorney Lopez, sabi mo, even before kasi nangyari yon, nakausap na ni Vice President yung papatay.
That's the literal meaning of the statement.
Yes, that's a literal meaning, but did you believe her?
Well, she's the Vice President, sir.
So she also said freedom of expression, so you also believe her?
Not based on the evidence that what we gathered, sir.
No, okay, so I'll stop there, but I'll read to you. Sinabi niyo kasi sedition. Pero tignan niyo po yung page 25 nung sarili niyong affidavit, ha. Si Princess Maui, ang sinabi niya, ano po ba ang pwede niyong maging remedy para matapos na ito? Lalo't nagsisigaw na po ang taong bayan na mag-people power na. So actually, I would consider ang nag-uudyok si Princess Maui. Of course, we can discuss people power, but pero tignan niyo po ang sagot niya after yung sa pagpatay. Ang laban ay wala dyan sa EDSA, ma'am. Wala dyan sa mga highway. Ang laban, ma'am, nandun sa loob ng palasyo. Yan ang problema. We appreciate yung expression nyo ng disgust, ang pagkamuhi, ang hopelessness, kasi it reflects kung ano nararamdaman ng maraming milyon-milyon. Alam ko yan, ma'am. Kahit saan ako pumunta, ang sasabihin, binoto namin dahil sinabi mo, iboto namin. So if I look at that statement, parang baliktad. Parang sinasabi niyang huwag kayo mag-people power.
Hindi, actually, kung babasahin po natin yung buo, may sinabi siya doon na natutuwa siya sa ginagawa nila.
Sa ginagawa nila na active nagrarally. Pero sa people power, ito yung exact. But I won't argue with you. I'm just trying to get into your frame of mind.
Yes, Your
when
Honor.
do you believe her and when do you not believe her? And what did you actually investigate?
We based everything on the evidence that we've gathered.
Thank you,
sir.
Presiding Officer. Thank you, Mr. Witness.
Opo.
Thank you, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano. Senator Judge Marcos, thereafter, Senator Judge Aquino. Senator Marcos, you may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And Attorney Lontok,
Yes, ma'am.
mapupay nga pag-abot din
Mapaya ko lang, ma'am.
aton Senado.
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to affirm lang yung sinabi mo kanina na nung nangyari nga itong hating gabi na interview ni Vice President sa Zoom, agad-agad inorderan kayo, in-instructionan ng NBI na mag-imbestiga. Tama po yun?
Hindi po, Your Honor. Sabado po yon, lunchtime, mayroon kaming meeting ako with the then Director Santiago. I think between 12 noon and 1 p.m. And then mayroong instruction na nanggaling kay Delta Santiago na, Jeremy, may kumakalat sa social media, may mga utterances na ginawa ang Vice Presidente. Imbestigahan natin. Since may cyber aspect ito, imbestigahan nyo na. Doon po nagsimula yon.
Tama. So anong araw yon? Kasi andito sa inyong affidavit of investigation at yung sinabi ninyo na on even date. Ang tinutukoy mo ba yung November 23 din?
November 23, ma'am, kasi natapos ho ang
Oo, gabing-gabi kasi yon di ba?
madaling araw po ng alauna, ma'am.
That's right. So, nag-meeting kayo kaagad-agad? Ganun ba?
Hindi, ma'am, hindi po kasi namin alam yun.
Kailan kayo inutusan na mag-imbestiga?
During lunchtime, nung may meeting kami ni then Director Santiago, pero iba ho ang iniimbestigahan namin krimen.
Kailan kayo sinabihan ng DOJ na mag-imbestiga? Anong araw
That
po?
same day, ma'am.
Kaya nga, November 23.
November
pa rin.
23.
Oo, pareho lang. Yun ang sinabi ninyo kanina nung tinatanong kayo ng counsel ng prosecution. Yan din ang nakasaad. On even date ang nakasabi sa inyong affidavit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, nag-umpisa na kayo. Kwento nga ninyo, 4 phase yung investigasyon. Nag-umpisa sa identification. Nagbigay kayo ng hash value. Nag-preserve kayo ng data. Pagkatapos nag-research kayo. Subsequently, sinabi mo na meron kayong open source intelligence search at natuklasan ninyo na meron palang October 18 video na press con na naman ni OVP na nasa Facebook at may mga sinasabi na naman na puputulin yung ulo. Tama ba yon? Yung October 18 ang nakita ninyo?
That's the continuation in the analysis phase, Your Honor.
Oo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kasi nag-research na kayo, no? Bilang 4th phase nga ng inyong investigasyon. Tama po ba?
Hindi po, Your Honor. Yun yung third phase ho, yung analysis and attribution.
Sa analysis pa at attribution. So, 3rd phase. Pero bandang huli na. Ang pinagtatakahan ko, kung inutusan kayo ng November 23 na magkaroon ng investigasyon, bakit napakaaga? November 6, 2024, a subpoena was issued to ABS-CBN requiring them to submit an authenticated copy of the video pertaining to the 18 October press con. Nandito to sa affidavit ninyo, nasa page 8, number 14. Kung inutusan kayo noong November 23, ang ibig ba sabihin, November 6 pa lang, minamanmanan na si Vice President? Iniimbestigahan na siya bago pa yung Zoom conference sa Kongreso?
No, Your Honor. I believe that's a typo yung date.
Sorry?
Kasi that's a typo, Your Honor, yung date. Kasi makikita doon yung date noong appearance ng taga-ABS-CBN, which is consistent ho siya doon sa ibang initial
Kailan
ng
ba yung
subpoena.
appearance? Kasi hindi ko nasusundan yung timeline ninyo eh. Parang yung November 23 yung utos, pero November 6 pa lamang may subpoena na. Ba't nagkaganon?
Typo ho yan, Your Honor. Hindi ho yan November 6.
Typo na naman katulad ng Department of Justice.
No, Your Honor. If I may refer to my notes, Your Honor.
Oo, pakita mo na lang sa akin kasi nahanap ko hindi ko masundan eh.
You may do so,
This
Counsel.
is page 6, number 14 po. November 6, 2024, subpoena to ABS-CBN.
Yung subpoena the subpoena itself. The subpoena itself.
Wala naman yatang date na binibigay tungkol sa appearance ni Patria Morales at yung iba pang
Meron po,
taga-ABS.
Your Honor, if I
Pakituro lang
have
kasi
the,
hinahanap
record
po
of the
namin.
subpoena. Subpoena mismo.
For information, the time of Senator Judge Marcos is over. Kindly.
Yes, but he's still responding
Of course,
to the
we
same
will wait for
question
the
if you will
response.
allow. Siya po yung matagal, hindi tayo.
We're only counting your the questions that you asked, not the answer. Neither are we counting the waiting time for the witness to answer.
I-check ko lang po, Your Honor, para
Kasi yung mga sumunod na meeting, doon sa page 13, sa number 30 at sa mga sumunod, yung mga tinutukoy doon, yung mga media na nandun sa Zoom conference. Hindi naman siya yung ABS na humawak ng camera noong October 18. Iba naman yung mga tinutukoy doon eh.
Attorney Lutok,
Opo.
the question of the Honorable Marcos is on page 6, paragraph 14. You said you sent us a subpoena on November 6, 2024. Unfortunately, because the annexes are not part of the document marked, it's not here. So the question is quite clear. If it's a mistake, then what is the correct date of the subpoena?
If I can see the real subpoena, Your
Kindly
Honor.
talk to the mic, please.
Yeah. If I can see the real subpoena, Your Honor, because the subpoena was signed by our Assistant Director for Investigation Service.
As I said, unfortunately, it was not attached to your affidavit, and I doubt if it's one of those marked or pre-marked
Wala.
by the counsel for prosecutors. As he said and admitted earlier, he did not or they did not mark all of the annexes in your affidavit.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may, check ko lang po, Your Honor, para sigurado ho.
Wala sa'yo ngayon.
Inaanap ko po rito.
Wala nga pong annex yan eh.
Wala sa annex at wala rin sa affidavit. Kasi yung mga media na tinutukoy sa ibang pahina, yung mga nag-interview nung Zoom conference.
Dito ho yung certified true copy daw, Your Honor.
If I may, Your Honor, please, can I assist on this regard, if the court will allow?
Only if you can produce a copy of the November 6 subpoena, counsel.
Exactly, Your Honor. The documents are present. They are in the possession at present of the witness, Your Honor, please. They may not have been physically attached to the affidavit investigation, but they do exist in the records of the case as separate pre-marked documents, Your Honor, please.
So
Okay.
it's here?
Presiding officer, then is counsel saying that therefore the affidavit is defective or wrongful and
With
that
all
November 6 is not the right date? What then is the right date to the
With all
subpoena
respect,
to
Your Honor,
ABS?
please, with all due respect, we object to the use of the term defective.
Counsel, we shall await. Let the
Yes.
document speak for itself.
Yes, Your Honor, please.
If it's there.
The witness is
Yes,
now in
it
the
was the witness
process.
who said that it was a mistake, not me.
No, it doesn't make the entire affidavit of investigation defective.
No, I merely said the date was wrong.
All right.
Because that's what he said.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's just been brought to my attention that in fact, presiding officer, two documents were issued on November 6. Not only the subpoena to ABS-CBN, but further the affidavit of investigation regarding the October 18 press con. Can we please be clarified as to these two documents which don't seem to appear in the affidavit nor in the annexes provided?
Let's first wait for the witness to answer the first question, Senator Judge Marcos.
Okay.
Yes, Attorney Lotok.
If I may, Your Honor. Ito ho, ang subpoena, Duces Tecom, yung date ho ng appearance niya is December 11.
Appearance po. Ang tinatanong yung
Appearance.
date ng subpoena.
Date
Attorney
ng
Lotok.
subpoena, Your Honor, is 6th day of November 2024, which I believe this is a typo kasi magkakasunod ho ito doon sa mga inisyuhan namin na media personalities.
Attorney Lotok, typo na yung affidavit mo? Typo pa yung subpoena?
Hindi po.
What are you
typo
looking at?
yun.
The subpoena or the affidavit?
Dalawa yan eh.
What are you looking at, Attorney Lotok? The
subpoena, Your Honor.
So the subpoena is dated November 6.
Okay.
This-
And the affidavit also is November 6. Dalawang typo carried over.
Asan yung affidavit? Hindi ko pa nakita, ma'am, yung affidavit na November.
Your
Ikaw
affidavit
ang
says
pumirma
November
eh.
6.
Pero patingin ako ng affidavit.
Yung affidavit of investigation mo na binigay, pati
I-check
yung
ko po,
amended, carried over din. Yung first draft na rineject ng DOJ, yung ikalawa, parehong November 6.
Saan? Ito na nga.
Pirmado ninyo eh.
Page 6, Counsel, paragraph 14 of his affidavit of investigation.
Yes, Your Honor. It's November 6, 2024 ang nakasulat dyan.
So typo din yan? Is it your testimony na typo din yan?
I believe so, Your Honor. Kasi ang intention namin dyan is 11 December 2024.
Anyway, Senator Judge Marcos, let the document speak for itself. That would be the best evidence of it, if at all, of the dates
Thank you.
of either the subpoena and or the affidavit.
Yes, presiding officer, just to provide our witness a chance to correct himself for the documents, sa palagay mo, ano yung tamang date kung mali yung November 6?
Same ho, Your Honor, doon sa mga subpoena na inisyo namin sa media personalities.
Dapat magkakapareho.
Yes, magkakasunod po yun.
Okay, sige. Maraming salamat. Thank you very much, presiding officer. Damo nga salamat.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Thank you, Senator Judge Marcos. Senator Bamakino, and then we proceed to cross.
Your Honor, can we just
Yes,
point out
Attorney
one?
Pinloan.
Your Honor, regarding that matter, Your Honor, may we just manifest, Your Honor, for the record that not only in paragraph 14, page 6, does the November 6, 2024 date appear, it also appears on the footnote. Footnote 12, November 6, 2024. So I don't think we just want to read for the record footnote 12, subpoena to Francis Toral, head ABS-CBN News dated 06 November 2024. In addition to that, if you look at the subpoena, and paragraph 14 also is on 06 November 2024, a subpoena was issued to ABS-CBN News. Now, it is actually, it states that a copy of the video pertaining to the 18 October 24 press conference. And when you look at the subpoena itself, can you just ask for time? The subpoena, if you look at the subpoena, there's an attachment, and the photo there contained therein actually pertains to the 18 October 2024 press briefing. So in other words, Your Honor, this is a substantive, this is not a mere typography.
Objection, Your Honor. Counter manifestation that counts. The witness said it's typographical, that you are milking that and say it's substantial.
Just
The
for the record, ito sa
The
manifestation.
That's
manifestation
why a
of counsel for
counter-manifestation.
respondent is duly noted. Insofar as the counter manifestation of the counsel for prosecution, the witness already answered. That is a typographical
Thank you so much.
error from his point of view. Senator Judge Bamakino.
Yes,
Then we proceed to cross.
maraming salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. So ito po yung continuation po to nung tanong ko kanina tungkol sa general denial tsaka specific denial. Pero bago yon, Attorney Venluan, let me ask Attorney Lotok. Kanina po, tinanong kayo kung bakit nyo tinuloy yung kaso, no? Why you continued with filing. Sabi nyo po kanina, hindi naman siguro siya magsisinungaling. Siya meaning the Vice President. Could you just quickly tell me, what do you mean by that? Hindi naman siguro siya magsisinungaling.
Well, the surrounding circumstances, Your Honor, at that time, yung atmosphere, sabi ko nga, galit na galit siya at madiin yung kanyang mga binitawang salita. At ito ay nagugat pa sa mga naunang event. So doon, nung winika niya na wag kang mag-alala ma'am, sapagkat may sa security ko, sapagkat may kinausap na akong tao. From the point of view of the NBI, we believe that...
So you took it as truth?
Yes.
Okay. In succeeding interviews, I'm sure nag-imbestiga ka, meron bang pagtanggi dito sa pagkausap sa isang tao na papatay kung may mangyari kay Vice President Duterte? Meron ba kayong napanood o naimbestiga na pagtanggi nito in the succeeding interviews?
Yes, Your Honor. I think there was a video dated November 26, 2024. Doon sa video na yon, instead na i-deny niya yung nangyari noong November 23, ni-reiterate pa ho niya, Your Honor, in-admit po niya na indeed may kinausap siyang tao.
So inulit pa, kumbaga.
Opo.
Okay. So let me repeat my question to the defense. No, so far, wala pang actual statement si Vice President Duterte na tinatanggi itong pagkausap sa isang hitman. And for the benefit of the public, magkaiba ho kasi yung general denial sa specific denial, no? Ang general denial, hindi ko ginawa yan. Wala akong kasalanan, no? Yung specific denial, hindi ko ginawa ito mismong mga bagay-bagay na ito. Hindi ko yun nakita sa sagot ng depensa. So I asked the defense, is there a denial that the Vice President actually spoke to a person to contract, spoke to a person to kill, you know, the individuals that we're talking about, Attorney Vinluan? Sabi nyo meron.
Your Honor,
Could you point us to where it is in your answer?
Your Honor, I just want to clarify because specific denial is a legal term. So in other words, we just want, in order to satisfy the query of Senator Judge Aquino, we will give him a copy of our answer, and we highlighted certain portions thereof, particularly paragraph 3 and paragraph 197 for his
Can you
perusal.
read both paragraphs,
Both paragraphs.
please? Because I've also read kami dito, binabasa naman namin yung mga sagot ninyo at siniseryoso namin yan, no? So can you read the two, please?
It reads, the rest of the allegations in the articles, including the supposed evidence attached therein, are specifically denied for being false, misleading, impertinent, mere conclusions of fact and law, and subject to the affirmative allegations and special and affirmative defenses below. And then we
That's Article
enumerated.
3.
Paragraph 3, Your
That's
Honor.
paragraph 3. So the rest, no, itong mga iba. Okay, paragraph 197.
197. It says there, finally, no such purpose contemplated by law was attained or could have been attained precisely because the respondent did not have any purpose other than simply answer a speculative inquiry. So that is our position on the matter.
So your position is that is enough of a specific denial to the allegation na may kinausap na hitman si Vice President Sara.
Yes, Your Honor, because we discussed in our answer that the presumption never shifts. It is in light of our discussion that it is the burden of the prosecution to prove their claim, considering that according to our laws, he who alleges must prove. And so we just presented our arguments accordingly, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm sure, attorney, sa inyong summation, you will argue this, that the burden of evidence has shifted. Pero hindi nyo po na take into account na ito mismo'y galing sa Vice President natin.
Your Honor, to clarify, the burden of proof is with the prosecution and not with the defense. In fact, Your Honor, according to our laws, even if we do not present evidence, if they do not overcome that threshold, Your Honor, then we believe that our client is entitled to.
So ang sagot po nyo, and this is my final question, presiding officer, ang sagot po nyo, kailangan i-prove ng prosecution na merong hitman. And you're not denying that the Vice President spoke to a hitman.
No, we are denying that, Your Honor. It's just that was our presentation in our answer.
Okay, so for the record, you are denying that the Vice President actually spoke to a hitman na, in fact, ang sabi nga ni Attorney Lotok, hindi siya nagsisinungaling.
Yes,
Sinasabi nyo, actually, nagsinungaling siya at wala siyang kinausap na hitman. Yan
Yeah.
pong sinasabi ninyo.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know what's the frame of mind of Attorney Lotok, but that is our answer, Your Honor.
Okay.
That she denied.
Maraming salamat, Attorney. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Thank you, Senator Judge Aquino. Senator Judge Zubiri is recognized. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer. Just want to go to the line of questioning continue the line of questioning of Senator Aquino to the prosecution, Attorney Vinluan. So there's
Defense,
not,
Your Honor.
yes, I'm
Defense.
sorry, defense, my apologies. Attorney Vinluan, has been no, in any instance that the Vice President had come out on TV or radio saying that, hindi, joke only, nagkamali ako, ano lang to, nagbobo. Kasi si Tatay Digong nung araw, sinasabi niya yun eh. So, papatayin ko siya. Tapos mamaya, joke only yan. Nagloloko lang ako. Parang ganun. So at no particular point in time, has she issued a denial that she said these statements? Aside from what you submitted to this court as a blanket denial.
There is, Your Honor, and we just reserve our right to present that evidence at the proper time as well, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's a video or recording that was done maybe a month or during the period of time that she had mentioned this, that she was denying, because we'd like to see that as well. That would weigh in heavily on our decision, because kung ngayon lang po nagpalabas ang depensa ng denial, parang after the fact na kasi nagkaroon na po tayo ng impeachment trial. We'd like to see that if you have that kind of evidence.
We will provide, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Judge Zubiri. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Alan Cayetano?
I'm not going to ask a question, just for clarification. May I just put it on the record?
The gentleman may proceed and he has 2 minutes.
If you look at the articles of impeachment, Article 4, Respondent Vice President Sara Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution, high crimes, and betrayed public trust by contracting for the assassination by the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker of the House by making grave threats and actively inciting sedition against the public. To be fair to the prosecution, I think it was asked of them that merely threatening for you is already, I hope I'm representing it correct, is already impeachable,
Yes, sir.
either high crimes, grave threats, or by culpable violation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But there's a difference between saying that that mere statement is impeachable by alleging that she did in fact contract someone to kill. Because if you look at the next page, it is the position of the prosecution of the House of Representatives. The fact that respondent contracted an assassin no longer requires further proof, as it is already established under the matter of light of her own public admission. That's a conclusion of law. Because it is basic that if someone alleges that someone contracted assassin, you have to prove.
Your Honor.
Diba? So what I wanted to clarify, and
Yes.
to be fair to both sides, you can comment. As far as I'm concerned, ang understanding ko, the prosecution did not stop short by saying that by merely uttering that is impeachable.
Yes.
They went further to say that they are alleging that she did in fact contract an assassin. In fact, nowhere in her words assassin, in the words of the Vice President, was assassin or contracted. Contracted means may kontrata. Sinabi niya lang may kinausap siya. And yung assassin came from, at least on these documents, from them. So I just want to clarify because baka yung manunod, bakit nga naman hindi kailangan i-prove
Yes.
nasabi in public? Those, what I wanted to clarify, those are two different things. Whether the threat, as said, is an impeachable offense, but if you're alleging that there was an actual assassin contracted, you have to prove that.
Yeah.
As
Your Honor,
far as I'm concerned.
Can I reply to that, Your Honor, please?
No need to reply. The Senator Judge Cayetano was not asking a question. He was merely making a manifestation for the record. Let's move on, counsel. Counsel for the respondent, if you're ready with your cross, you may proceed.
Attorney Lotok, the NBI is an investigatory body, correct?
Yes, sir.
But unlike the DOJ, it is not a prosecutorial body, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you have investigators and not prosecutors. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, in relation to this case, what you did was only fact-finding investigation, correct?
Fact-finding and recommendations, sir.
And recommendation, not preliminary investigation.
Not preliminary.
Because that function is with the DOJ, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the course of your fact-finding investigation, you subpoenaed witnesses, correct?
Yes, sir.
Conducted interviews,
Yes, sir.
gathered evidence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, thereafter, you transmitted the result of your fact-finding investigation to the DOJ, correct?
Our recommendation, sir. Yeah.
Okay. We learned from Agent Kalilong last time, just to clarify, that there were 2 transmittals. Correct? The
Yes,
first
sir.
transmittal was on January 30, 2025, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the benefit of this court, there was a transmittal letter then, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can we flash that on the screen? For the benefit of our senators, that is page 7 of the Articles of Impeachment, Annex G9 or GGGG. All right. Now, if you look at the document, this was received by the DOJ also on the same day. So January 30, 2025, correct? Well, it is not clear, but it can be read. If I may be allowed to use a pointer, Your Honor, just to.
You may do so, counsel.
It's quite unclear, but actually, if you look at the actual document, it can be read as January 30, 2025. Do you confirm this?
I don't have the document, sir. May.
Well, we have a hard copy, and I asked my co-counsel to show the document.
Co-counsel may approach.
30. Yeah, hindi siya clear, Your Honor.
All right. Now, this was addressed to Prosecutor General Fadulyon. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And NBI's recommendation was for 1 count of inciting to sedition and 3 counts of grave threats. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, attached to this transmittal letter was your affidavit of investigation. I won't bother to read the body, but it says there that it was attached to that transmittal letter, correct? Because, of course, the transmittal letter won't be empty. It has to contain something, correct?
Your Honor, let the witness, my move that the witness be allowed to answer first before the counsel asks a follow-up question.
Witness will please answer.
I think yung copy ng affidavit is nasa DOJ na, yung first affidavit.
So there was an affidavit of investigation because Agent Calilong also confirmed this last time. So I just want a clarification from you. There was a first affidavit of investigation dated January 30,
Yes,
2025. All right. But we never saw this because it was never released, correct?
I think nasa DOJ.
Nasa with the DOJ.
For purposes of case build-up.
But didn't you keep a receiving copy for your office?
No, kasi meron na kaming copy sa computer.
So in
namin.
other words, you have a
Your Honor,
copy of this January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation, correct?
Your Honor, I move that can the witness finish his answer first before the counsel.
You already gave his answer.
Respondent, kindly wait for the witness to finish his answer.
We will comply, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Personally, I believe na nandun sa DOJ yung copy and then yung sinubmit sa amin is yung unang certification stating na kailangan yung i-comply itong 7
All right.
requirements.
Okay. Now, there was also an investigation data form attached, correct?
I don't have the copy, Your Honor.
If you know, if there is a investigation data form that was attached to it, correct? Okay. Now, very well. Now, the DOJ thereafter evaluated the case.
Part of the DC-15 requirement, Your Honor.
No, it's a yes, sir. It's answerable by yes or no.
Your Honor, the witness is in the process of answering a question. He is intelligent enough to answer the question.
Let the witness finish his answer.
Part of the requirement of the DC-15 series of 2024, if I'm not mistaken, the circular has directed the prosecutors to proactively engage in the investigation of crimes or in the criminal investigation. Kaya ho yung ginagawa namin nung nag-submit kami nung transmittal, ang purpose ho nun for evaluation ng ating prosecution, at the same time for case build-up. So pag nakita ho ng prosecutor na may kulang, part ho ng evaluation saka case build-up process, nagbibigay ho sila ng recommendation. NBI, may kulang kang ganito, hindi pa sa sufficient, i-comply nyo muna to. Part ho yun ng DC-15 requirements.
All right, clear. So in other words, the evaluation is to determine if the recommendation is sufficient or insufficient for the purpose of preliminary investigation, correct?
For purposes of case build-up, so that the transmittal or referral would be able to comply the requirements of preliminary investigation.
At any rate, preliminary investigation is the next step, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, after the evaluation and case
All
build-up
right.
process.
Can you receive this evaluation or response from the DOJ? Am I right?
You mean the certification, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, the first
No,
certification.
if only you receive.
Your Honor, again. The witness is in the process of answering the question, and the counsel is excited to propound a follow-up question. Let the witness answer first.
Same ruling, same reminder. Witness, kindly proceed to answer.
Again, sir, what was the question?
So you received a response from the DOJ.
A certification dated February 5, 2025.
All right. Oh, no. That's not my question. But anyway, let me direct your attention to a certification issued by the DOJ through Senior Assistant State Prosecutor J.V. Lawrence B. Bandong and approved by Senior Assistant State Prosecutor Herbert Calvin P. Abugan, dated February 5. For the benefit of this honorable court and the Filipino people watching, this is Articles of Impeachments Annex G9 as well, pages 10 and 11. May we ask that the witness peruse this certification? Just a manifestation, Your Honor. Annex G9 is actually not numbered. So pages 10 and 11 was based on the PDF file or the soft copy, but the hard copies are not actually numbered.
Noted.
So, Mr. Witness, was this the response from DOJ following your January 30, 2025
Yes, sir.
transmittal? So this certification contained the DOJ's evaluation, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And-
Part of the requirement
Wait,
ng PCP.
again, the same.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same.
Your Honor.
The witness still answering. Let the witness answer first before propounding the next question.
And the NBI received this February 5 certification, correct?
Yung copy ko, Your Honor, hindi ko makita yung date.
Oh, I'll help you. There is a note received on the upper right that is unclear. Can we flash that on the screen as well? It is unclear, but it appears to have been received on February 5, 2025, correct? So more or less 6 days after transmittal. Do you confirm this?
Your Honor, before the witness answers the question, I would like to
Yes,
commence
counsel.
my objection on the ground of relevance. May I explain, Your Honor, please? This witness testified that what they filed with the NBI with the DOJ is a February 10 affidavit investigation. And here comes the defense now, asking questions as to the first affidavit of investigations that the NBI submitted, which the DOJ asked them to correct and to provide additional information, which they complied with. And what is now at issue is the February 10 affidavit investigation. That's why I'm now objecting on the grounds of relevance.
Your Honor.
What's the let me finish. What's the point of digging into a prior affidavit investigation when what this witness testified to, when what this witness identified is a later affidavit investigation that is now being considered by the DO? The question is simple. What's the relevance?
Objection is overruled. It goes into the credibility of the witness as well as his ability to testify as to his investigative report. And witness is competent enough anyway. Witness may answer.
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, we received that letter on 10 February 2025 based on the second letter submitted to Honorable Richard Anthony D. Fadulion, signed by Judge Jaime B. Santiago. States here that on 10 February 2025, this bureau received the certification dated 05 February 2025, where the evaluating prosecutors referred the case for case build-up, citing reasons thereof.
Then in that case, Your Honor, we have a problem because this is
Oh,
part...
Your Honor, objection.
Your Honor, I'm not yet... I'm not-
Objection.
Kindly let counsel finish.
Because like, as I mentioned a while ago, Your Honor, this forms part of the records of this honorable court. This was submitted as page 10 to 11 of Annex G9. This is part of the court's record and we also received this. These are not our documents.
That's why I'm
These
objecting,
are
Your
the
Honor.
prosecutions, I mean the
Counsel for the
prosecution's
prosecution,
documents.
kindly let him finish.
These are not our documents, Your Honor. These are part of the records of the court. This came from them and they attached this to the articles of impeachment. Your Honor, we have all the right to confront each and every document because that forms part of the charge against our client. Now,
Counsel-
if Attorney Lotok is saying, Your Honor, if I may just be allowed
This
to
is now
finish,
a manifestation.
that
Your Honor.
February, it was received on February 10. We just want to counter-manifest, Your Honor, that there is a received stamp here, says February 5.
Your Honor, this is not highly...
Counsel, the presiding officer already overruled the objection of counsel for the prosecutors, and I thought you would end up with a question. Kindly proceed with your cross-examination.
So in other words, you deny that it was received on February 5, 2025 as seen here in this document that is part of the records of the Senate Impeachment Court.
Well, first, Your Honor, hindi ho ako yung nag-receive niyan. Then pangalawa, ang nakapirma ho rito ang dating director namin, Jaime B. Santiago, at ang sinasabi niya, on 10 February 2025, this bureau received the certification dated 05 February 2025.
All right. Anyway, I'll move on to a new point. This certification noted 7 items, and we went through this the last time with Agent Kalilong, so I won't delve on that. But basically, just to go through this very quickly, the first point says that there is no affidavit of the person, so no affidavit. The second point is, or the second note is the press briefing conducted on October 18, so no TSN and affidavit of the person taking the TSN. Number 3 is annexes I and K with marking, so no affidavit of recorder and no TSN and affidavit. Number 4, Annex L did not indicate who made such TSN, so incomplete information. Number 5, the affidavit of Juan Patria Morales, so no USB. Number 6, only the minutes of the meeting with several so no affidavit. But I'd like
Oh, Your Honor, that's my objection now.
I'm just reading
Where's
it, Your
the
Honor.
question?
Kindly-
Wait for the question.
kindly
Okay,
wait
I'm
for the
going to the
counsel.
question. I'm just
Thank
laying
you.
the basis, Your Honor. Now, I'd like to highlight note number 7. Please allow me to read that portion, or at least the latter portion thereof. It says there, in the instant complaint, only the NBI executed an affidavit and there was no participation on the part of the offended parties. As it appears, NBI is not the offended party for the crime of grave threats. My question is this. So based on note number 7, according to the DOJ, the NBI is not the offended party, correct?
Based on number 7, based on number 7, NBI is not the offended party for the crime of grave threats.
Okay, very well. So the offended parties, if at all, are President BBM, the First Lady, and the former Speaker, correct?
Yes, sir.
At any rate, all these, the 7 notes that I mentioned, are all deficiencies in the first affidavit of investigation, correct?
It's not deficiency, Your Honor, because the affidavit, the first affidavit we've submitted is substantial in terms of
Substantial.
establishing the evidence required. This requirement is a matter of complying the required quantum of evidence required under DC-20. And if I may, sir, the purpose of submitting our referral to the Department of Justice is for preliminary investigation, which under the NPS rules, the new rules under the NPS, the law enforcement agency can submit a complaint affidavit, or in fact, submit a complaint before the DOJ for purposes of preliminary investigation. The requirement that the offended party should have that complaint affidavit is not an indispensable requirement, and so far as the preliminary investigation is concerned. And so far as the preliminary investigation is concerned.
Very well. Now, based on that answer, I'd just like to point your attention to the portion of this certification dated February 5, 2025, next to the box ticked with an X. Kindly allow me to read, if we can highlight that portion. Okay. It says here, and you can read with me, insufficient for the conduct of preliminary investigation and must first be referred for case build-up. So in Filipino, this is my question, I'll do it in Filipino. So in other words, nakulangan yung DOJ, correct?
For purposes, Your Honor, of satisfying the elements the required quantum of evidence. The DOJ required us to attach the affidavits and other documents like the TSN, sir.
Thank you. And the DOJ itself mentioned this, correct? Or said this, correct?
Based on the certification.
All right. In fact, let me direct your attention to the portion after, I quote, must first be referred for case build-up. Can we flash that also on the screen? And allow me to read. The complaint/referral does not contain all the necessary evidence to prove the essential elements of the crime. Therefore, it is recommended that the same be first referred for case build-up. Okay? Now, let me get this straight. I'll summarize first and then I'll ask the question. So, the subject incident happened on November 23, 2024. And the NBI conducted fact-finding investigation, as you said. You subpoenaed individuals, conducted interviews, gathered evidence, among others, as you said also. And the NBI spent over 2 months or until January 30, 2025 for this process. Is this a fair summation of what we had just discussed?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
You don't agree. And yet, when the NBI transmitted the case to the DOJ on January 30, 2025, the DOJ found it to be insufficient for the conduct of preliminary investigation.
Objection, Your Honor. Continuing objection as to this series of questions as to the prior affidavit investigation, which was corrected in a February 10, 2025. Continuing objection, Your Honor.
The continuing objection is noted. Same ruling by the court. Witness may answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The fact that the Department of Justice
That would be
issued
enough.
another
That would be enough. Yes,
certification.
Kindly let the witness finish.
We will
counsel.
comply, Your Honor.
Are
The
you
fact
done,
that the
Mr.
Department of
Witness?
Justice issued another certification on February 14, 2025, and it states here that the referral is sufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation and that it contains all the necessary evidence to prove the essential elements of the crime and should be docketed for preliminary
With the
investigation.
permission of the parties, Attorney Latok, that's the second certification.
Yes
You're
po,
speaking.
Your Honor. The second certification.
Counsel for the respondent.
Yeah, we will go to that. In other words, based on this certification, the DOJ did not affirm the NBI's recommendation, correct?
No, part of the process of evaluation and case build-up, the DOJ require us to comply with the requirements na hinihingi nila gaya ng mag-attach kayo ng affidavit, mag-attach kayo ng TSN, pero wala hong sinabi ang DOJ doon na hindi substantial yung aming affidavit. Ang require lang ho nila, mag-attach kayo ng yun nga, yung affidavit na record yung video at then yung TSN, sir.
Well, according to you, but we just
Oh,
read
no, you're
that it was
argumentative.
insufficient. Your
Objection,
Honor,
argumentative.
Asked and answered. Move on, counsel.
okay, that's interesting because there was a 2025 impeachment complaint filed against VP Sara also on February 5, 2025. If you know.
But again, Your Honor, what?
The date is important because there was also a February 5, an impeachment complaint filed against VP Sara also on February 5, 2025. Correct?
Hindi ako familiar.
You're not
sa-
familiar. That's okay. If I may refresh your memory, this was the fast track 2025 impeachment complaint signed by the
Objection, Your
215
Honor.
representatives.
If a ground arises, a counsel can object. The term fast-tracked,
Oh, Your Honor.
you are labeling a process made by House of Representatives as fast-tracked. Objection, Your Honor, please.
Counsel, move on and ask your question.
If you know, if this coincides with that impeachment complaint that was signed by the 215
Objection, Your Honor.
representatives.
There's no basis. This counsel,
If you
this
know.
witness, again, already said that he is not aware that on that day there was an impeachment complaint. There's
Counsel-
no basis for that question.
Counsel witness already answered. The counsel for prosecutor is correct. Witness already answered. He's not familiar with the filing of an impeachment complaint on that date.
At any rate, this
Move on.
pertains to the November 23, 2024 video, correct?
Objection, vague, Your Honor. What's the question? Referring to a video. Objection, vague.
Kindly restate your question, counsel.
The complaint. The complaint that was filed against the Vice President also pertains to the November 23, 2024 video.
Objection,
if you know.
Again, vague complaint filed on that date.
Well, if he knows, he already answered he doesn't. Who knows? He might all of a sudden recall. Do you know? Are you familiar with that, Mr. Attorney Lotok?
I said, Your Honor, hindi ako familiar nung filing nung sa impeachment.
Yeah.
You're not familiar. Okay, I'll move on to a new point then.
Move
now,
on, counsel.
Now, did you rectify your January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation?
January 30.
January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation. In short, the first affidavit of investigation.
We complied with
You
the requirements of the Department of Justice.
All right. Did anybody ask you to rectify?
What do you mean, sir?
Microphone. Use the microphone.
What do you mean?
Did you receive any directive from anybody to rectify that affidavit of investigation?
Objection argumentative. The question was asked. He said we complied, and then he's now asking the
I'm
same
asking
question.
who? I'm asking if there is another person who directed you to satisfy the requirement.
Overruled.
withdraw,
Witness
withdraw.
will answer. Witness is an intelligent witness. Aside from the fact that he's a lawyer,
Your Honor, when we received the certification dated 05 February 2025, ito ho yung kinumply namin.
All right. And you added affidavits executed by your agents, correct? To your revised affidavit of investigation, correct?
No, we didn't revise the affidavit of investigation. We just produced the affidavits of the fact that the video was recorded and there was DSN. Yun ho yung in-attach namin sa affidavit of investigation.
So you are denying that you produce a revised affidavit of investigation?
Well, when you say kasi revised affidavit, binago namin yung affidavit namin. Hindi ho namin binago, Your Honor, yung affidavit namin. Nag-require ho ang Department of Justice, kulang kayo ng affidavit as to the fact na nirecord nyo yung video, kulang kayo doon sa affidavit kung sino nag-execute ng TSN, etc. But not the substance ng affidavit, Your Honor.
All right, I'll go back to the point later, but let me highlight one very important observation. Okay, your January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation included a transmittal letter, as you said, as well as in an investigation data form or IDF, correct?
Wala akong kopya dito, sir.
You don't have a copy. Okay. In fact, let's show that IDF. Page 12, this is page 12 of Annex G9 for the benefit of this honorable court as well. Okay, this is an investigation data form. You're very familiar with this document because you're an investigator, correct? Now, this was...
kindly wait for the witness to answer.
He
Are you
nodded his
familiar?
head.
Yeah, investigation data form, sir.
Okay.
Opo, Your Honor.
All right. So, in other words, the IDF serves like a cover letter for your affidavit of investigation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the transmittal letter, along with this IDF, was received by the DOJ, correct?
Yeah, I believe so, sir.
All right. Now, my question is this. Was the investigation data form also received by the DOJ?
I don't have personal knowledge.
You don't have... but you were the one who caused the filing of the affidavit
No,
attached to this affidavit of investigation data
I
form,
instructed
correct?
the agent on case as well as the executive officer na pagkumpleto na pwede ninyo nang i-file yan sa Department of Justice for purposes of evaluation and case build-up if warranted, sir.
Okay. But here, upon perusal of this investigation data form, there is a stamp received in the upper left portion of this data investigation form. And I'd like to note, Your Honor, and for the benefit of the court, can I ask my co-counsel also to distribute among the senator judges a printed copy so that they can peruse this document better, as well as the witness so he can confront. There is a stamp Department of Justice received, but it appears that it was initially stamped February 2, 12, 2025, but there is a marking, a manual marking that converted it to January 30, and there is also a word there, JAN. So January 30 ang lumabas, no?
Okay.
My question to you is this. The stamp says Department of Justice, correct?
Well,
No,
wala akong hawak na document ko,
you
Your
can
Honor.
perceive it.
Kung-
And
kung
mind you,
yung-
these are not our documents. These are part of Annex G9 of the Articles of Impeachment. So these are not our documents.
Your Honor, I would like to object now. The witness already said that he is not aware as to the actual filing because he only asked his agent on case to investigate. And then now the witness is now being propounded to question as to what appears on the stamp as to the time or date of receipt by the DOJ. So the witness said he is not competent to answer that. Your Honor, please. Oh, wait, I'm not done. That's the first one. Your Honor, please. No need for the court to rule, but I am registering my continuing objection to this series of questions as to the prior affidavit of investigation, when in fact, this witness already said that he complied with all the requirements by the DOJ and came up with a February 10, 2025 affidavit investigation. So I move that it be noted, Your Honor, please. The
The
continuing
continuing
objection.
objection of counsel for the prosecutor is noted, but counsel, as pointed out by counsel for the respondent, this is part and parcel of the complaint
Yes, ma'am.
that the panel of prosecutors filed before this court. If the witness knows, he may answer.
So the question is, the SAM says Department of Justice, correct? It's a very basic question.
Again, I don't know, Your Honor.
No, based on this document,
Argumentative, Your Honor.
the only question is, it says Department of Justice, correct?
As I've said, Your Honor, hindi ho ako ang nag-file. May inutusan ho ako.
Do you see it in the screen and do you
Your
see it
Honor,
in the
the
hard
witness-
copy?
Counsel asked and answered, move on. That's
Okay.
the response of the witness.
So, will you agree that considering that this was supposed to be received by the DOJ, it is only the DOJ that has the authority to change the date?
Again, you asked the DOJ, sir. Wala ho akong
Exactly.
idea dyan.
All right.
Exactly.
Counsel for the prosecution, kindly avoid.
All right, but
side
this
remarks.
this is not from the DOJ. This is your copy. This is a receiving copy. So when you receive back your receiving copy, you did not bother checking this portion?
Your Honor, hindi ako personally nag-receive niyan.
But this is your affidavit of investigation.
Objection argumentative, Your Honor. Ask and answered.
Asked and answered, move on, counsel.
All right. My question to you now is this. The discrepancy is not 1 day or 2 days. The discrepancy is from Feb 12 to January 30. So it is a substantial discrepancy. My question to you is this. Who changed this
Objection.
date? If you
Objection,
know,
Your
if
Honor.
you know.
That's misleading, Your Honor. My goodness, that's misleading. This counsel is assuming that somebody changed what? The counsel failed to elicit any answer from this witness. And now the counsel is conceiving that somebody changed that and confronting our witness with that. Misleading. This is the classic case of a misleading question.
Counsel-
You assume something that has yet to be established. That's not how we do it. With all due respect.
Counsel for respondent, I think you made your point and you gave a copy to the senator judges, and we see your point.
All right.
One.
But my more important observation is this.
Objection, Your Honor, please. You are supposed to ask questions. and
Yes,
not
I will.
make
I will go to the
observations.
question. I will go to the question.
Kindly allow counsel for respondent to finish his question. He may just still be laying the basis. You may
Thank you,
proceed,
Your Honor.
counsel.
That's precisely what I'm doing, Your Honor. Can I direct everyone's attention to the date appearing at the bottom portion of this document?
Well,
It says
counsel,
here-
counsel, technically not everyone, just the witness.
Yes.
And let's see if the witness can answer your question.
It says here February 11, 2025. So in other words, it was and it says here subscribed before NBI agent Ricarte. In other words, the date of the document is February 11, but it was received on January 30, 2025 by the DOJ. Do you have any explanation for this? That's the
Objection,
question.
Your Honor. Objection. This witness is incompetent to attest to that exactly because he said he is not aware of this series of facts. I know where the counsel for respondent is going. Unfortunately for him, his line of argument was already nipped in the bud when this witness said he is not aware of that. He should move on to other points.
Your Honor, the witness said that the investigation date, this investigation data form was attached to the original affidavit of investigation. And we want an explanation why there is a discrepancy on the date. The witness is a lawyer.
Exactly.
He has
that's
an
the point.
experience, Your Honor, in filing cases. We just want to know, Your Honor. We want to get to the bottom of this
I have to
matter.
object to that. I have to object to that.
Considering
the
also,
witness-
Your Honor, that this is about transparency.
Will the parties please settle down? If the witness knows,
Yes.
Attorney Latok, do you know? Can you explain the discrepancy, or are you personally aware of the discrepancy?
I cannot explain this, Your Honor. Unang-una, hindi ako nakapirma dito, hindi ako nag-receive. At wala akong idea dito sa...
But Attorney Latok, you see the point that the counsel for respondent is trying to make, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That the date of receipt was changed to 1/30, January 30, but it was subscribed to on February 11. Meaning,
But-
you see it, but you have no personal knowledge how that came about.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't have...
Move on, counsel.
Yeah.
So, doesn't this demonstrate that
Oh.
that the document was
Allow
tampered
counsel to
with?
finish.
Doesn't this demonstrate, if you know that this document was tampered with, does
Objection,
that
Your Honor.
demonstrate
Exactly. He's now arguing with our witness, Your Honor.
Sustained. Move on, counsel. Move on to your next topic, counsel.
Your Honor, but you agree,
Oh.
Attorney Lotok, that the IDF is not a simple cover letter, correct?
Ask and answered, Your Honor.
Okay, in fact, it is an affidavit, correct? An IDF is an affidavit, correct?
An ID? I don't think so, Your Honor. It's not an affidavit, Your Honor. It's
The investigation data form.
it's not an affidavit.
So you don't agree. So in other words, this certification part here, and with the subscribed and sworn to, it is for you. This is not an affidavit.
Argumentative, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I just
Objection,
I just made my
argumentative.
question more specific, Your Honor. There is a part here, subscribed and sworn to, and the witness is, I want to ask the witness if he considers this document as an affidavit despite this portion. What's the answer? Is it an affidavit or
Attorney
not?
Latok, is this sworn to? Is this document sworn to? What's the title of the instrument again? Can you go up?
Investigation data form, Your Honor.
Is an investigation data form subscribed and sworn to by the person filing it? To your knowledge.
Yes, Your Honor. There is subscribed and sworn to before this 11th day of February and signed by the administrating officer.
Okay.
And as law practitioners, we know that when we file a case before the office of the city prosecutor, this actual page is signed and subscribed before the public prosecutor,
Your Honor,
correct?
again. Objection.
If you know, you are a
Continued
lawyer and you are
objection
a
as to-
supervisor
If
of
I
your
may.
department. I'm just asking a basic question.
I am now-
As a law practitioner, as a lawyer, you know that this IDF is signed and subscribed before the public prosecutor when you file a case, correct?
If I may object, Your Honor, continuing objection as to the relevance of this series of
Noted,
questions.
same
Your Honor, please.
ruling. Witness may answer if he knows.
But again, Your Honor, before the prosecutor?
Correct. In normal cases, the IDF is subscribed and sworn to before the public prosecutor, correct?
Well, in this case, Your Honor, it was administered by Assistant Director Glenn Ricarte, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm glad you pointed that out. Isn't Ricarte from the NBI?
Yes, Assistant Director po siya.
In other words, this is a DOJ document, but you made your subscription before an NBI agent. Isn't that supposed to be before the DOJ agent?
But again, wala akong personal knowledge dyan sa details na yan, sir. Siguro tanungin nyo kung sino ho yung naka-affix ang signature.
All right.
dyan, sir.
But what is worse, if I can
Object-
direct
Your Honor,
your-
objection. I object, Your Honor. You know, this council is in the habit of inserting,
Your Honor,
adding value
if we may
to what is otherwise.
Just be allowed to continue, Your Honor. This is our time. We've given them enough
Counsel
leeway, Your
for the
Honor, after more than
prosecutors,
hours.
Let him lay the basis of his question.
Yes.
All right. Can I direct your attention to the upper right portion of this IDF? It states docketed 3/7/2025, and there is a docket number XVI-INV-25C-00048. Again, this is not with the source of this document is not the DOJ. This is your receiving copy, correct? In fact, this was part of the subpoena documents which you sent to the House of Committee on Justice, correct?
Objection. Compound questions. 2 questions.
Okay, I'll
Kindly reform, counsel.
so, all right. My question is this, okay? So, do you confirm that there is a marking on the upper right which says docketed 3725, and there's a docket number assigned?
In this document, sir, yes.
All right. We manifest, Your Honor, that this is still the same Annex G9. So in other words, you're telling this court that this document was subscribed on February 11, 2025, received on January 30, 2025, and docketed on whatever it is, July 3 or March 7, 2025. Is that what you're saying?
That's compound. That's compound. You're asking 2 dates and asking for 1 question.
No, Your Honor, I just described the document
Exactly.
as it
Compound
is.
question. Ask 1 question per date. That is exactly the genius why we don't allow compound questions. You are asking 2 questions and asking this witness to answer once. That's dangerous. That's
Counsel,
compound
it's
question.
counsel, presiding officer will clarify the matter. Questions were earlier asked already with respect to the February subscription and the January 30 receipt. Insofar as the docketing is concerned, do you see the numbers and or dates 3/7/25, Attorney Latok?
Yes, Your Honor. In this document, there is number 3/7/25.
And for clarity, NPS docket means National Prosecution Service.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
Opo. Yes,
So
Your
it's a
Honor.
docket of the National Prosecution Service.
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed, counsel.
All right. So now I'm showing you pages 169, 168, 169 also of Annex G9. This pertains to the affidavit of Agent Kalilung, which is an attachment now to the revised affidavit of investigation. You added this document to rectify the January 30 affidavit of investigation, correct?
Again, sir?
You added this document in order to rectify the January 30, the first affidavit of investigation, correct? And we will confront you with the document. Again, these are not our documents.
The document was signed by Agent Mark Kalilong and subscribed and sworn to before Attorney Van Homer Angluben. Sir.
Okay. So in other words, I just want to take a look on the date. Can we flash the date? So when you received the February 5 certification from the DOJ, you executed this and it was February 10.
Objection.
correct?
No,
I'm not the one
that's
who
now
executed
misleading.
it.
That's misleading. It's Agent Kalilong who executed that, and then you're asking you executed that. That's misleading.
No,
It's clear
but-
on the record.
But this is part of the revised affidavit of investigation, which this
Objection,
witness
revised.
co-signed.
The
If he
witness
knows-
already said
if
that
he
they
knows.
did not revise it. They just complied. Misleading, Your Honor.
Oh, you want to
Misleading.
go? Okay, since
Counsel, kindly settle down. The question, Attorney Lotok, is did you add, in order to comply with the DOJ requirement, this affidavit signed by Agent Kalilong? And is the date February 10? Meaning in compliance with the DOJ observation, is this one of the affidavits that you added? And is it dated?
Although I don't have my record, it appears so, Your Honor, based on the document shown to me by the counsel.
Both as to the fact that it was one of the affidavits added and as to the date, Attorney Latok.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
All
Move
right.
on, counsel.
I am showing you another affidavit. This is page 178, 179 of Annex G9. This now pertains to the Geran affidavit. This was also an attachment to the revised affidavit of investigation.
Objection
correct?
again, Your Honor, please. The continuing use of revise, when this witness already said that they did not revise anything, they just complied with the requirement. That's now misleading.
Your Honor, just
many times over, misleading.
All right, just to put this issue at rest, Your Honor, I'm confronting the witness with a letter to Richard Anthony D. Fadulion dated February 11, 2025. And I want to read, Your Honor, the last paragraph thereof. It says, to support our recommendation, attached herein is the revised affidavit of investigation. This is not our document. This is the NBI's document. Can Attorney Lotok be confronted with this document, please?
It
Attorney
was signed.
Latrop, please answer.
Yes, Your Honor. It was signed by then Director Judge Jaime B. Santiago.
Can you confirm the last sentence for the record? Can you read it for the record?
To support the recommendation attached herein is the revised affidavit of investigation, including its attachment.
Can you repeat the word before the word affidavit of
Ask and
investigation,
answered,
please?
Your Honor. Ask
Asked
and
and
answered.
answered. So,
Then I'm not misleading after all. Anyway,
Objection, Your Honor. That's an unnecessary statement. Counsel, you're supposed to ask questions and not make these remarks.
counsels, kindly settle down. We're about to wind up the day.
all right. I'm showing you now pages, proceed, 178 to 179 of the revised affidavit of investigation. Can you be confronted with that document? The date is February 10, 2025. I just want to confirm the date if that is correct. As it
Date-
appears from the document.
As it appears here, 10th day of February 2025.
Oh, very well. I am showing you now pages 187 to 188 of Annex G9, also a kalilong affidavit, which is an attachment to the revised affidavit of investigation. Can we flash the date of that document?
What's the question?
Also February 10. So in other words, you attach this to your revised affidavit of investigation.
It appears here, 10th day of February 2025, sir.
And you attached it to your affidavit of investigation, correct?
As an attachment, sir.
All right, very good. Now, showing you 199 to 200 of Annex G9. Now, this is the Asuncion affidavit. And I'll make a point in a couple of questions, Your Honor. Can you just confirm the date also and if it was attached to your revised affidavit of investigation?
10th day, it appears here, 10th day of February 2025.
All right. So it was attached also to your revised affidavit of investigation.
Assumption. Yes.
All right. Now this is the question. I'm showing you now page 112 of Annex G9, another kalilong affidavit. Did you also add this to rectify your January 30 affidavit of investigation or the first affidavit of investigation? We have here a soft copy, affidavit of transcription. Was this also a document that was lacking in your first affidavit of investigation, which you added to your revised affidavit of investigation?
Again, Your Honor, registering my continuing objection as to the relevance of this series of questions that is consuming the entirety of the defense's turn to cross-examine this witness. What's the relevance?
Noted. Same ruling. Witness may answer.
Again, Your Honor,
Was this also part of the revised affidavit of investigation to rectify the defects that we highlighted a while ago?
no, there was no rectification, there was no defect. Again, this is part of the compliance given us by the Department of Justice for us to comply.
All right, if you want to use that term. So in other words, after you received the Feb 5 certification, this was also one of the documents that you attached to your revised affidavit of investigation. Correct?
I believe so, part of the compliance.
All right.
Sir,
My issue is this. Let me direct your attention to the bottom portion of this affidavit. It says here, in witness hereof, I have, can you zoom that in? I can't read it. The date is February 3, 2025. Can you zoom that in? So in other words, you are trying to convince this court that when you...
What's the question? What's the question?
This is the question. Are you trying to convince this court that you executed this affidavit prior?
Objection, misleading.
He did not execute
not.
the
No, sorry. You attached this affidavit prior to the Feb 5, 2025 certification?
Prior to what, Your Honor? February 10?
Okay. You receive a certification on February 5, 2025,
Yep.
correct? And you said that you added affidavits after receipt thereof. Now, you mentioned a while ago that this was one of the affidavits that you added, and yet the date came prior to the DOJ certification dated February 5, 2025. Do you confirm this?
I think ang makakasagot po niyan si Agent Calilong, Your Honor, kasi may mga attachment na kami during the first affidavit na-include na doon sa mga nire-require ng prosecutor na nandun na. And then nung nag-issue ang prosecutor gaya po ng number 2, the press briefing, sige muna. Ito, Your Honor, gaya ng number 1, there is no affidavit of the persons who recorded the video entitled BP November 23 Press Con at Batasan through OBS. When in truth and in fact, kasama ho na in-attach na doon yung affidavit of authentication doon sa unang affidavit.
So in other words, you're telling this court that the DOJ made this mistake? That there was no...
Not necessarily, Your Honor. Pwedeng hindi nakita ng prosecutor na naka-attach na yun. Kasi
hindi lang
nandun
nakita.
po sa date na January 30 yung execution ng affidavit of authentication.
Your Honor, if before we continue, Your Honor, I'm noticing something, Your Honor, please. The defense is in the process, has been presenting portions of an alleged document, and they're making notes. Oh, I don't think that's proper, Your Honor. When you present a document, you present the document as is. You don't make annotations.
Exactly, Your
Note
Honor.
Number 2, that's not proper, Your Honor.
We are presenting the actual document and we're confronting it. This is just to address, Your Honor, what was intimated by the senators, that they want to be able to follow the discussion, Your Honor, using the screen.
If I may, my problem with that, Your Honor, please, because it's like you presenting your observation on a document and you're showing that to the court when what you're supposed to do is just to confront this witness with a document without any annotations. That's just my observation, Your Honor.
Noted. Counsel, please proceed. For respondent, please proceed.
Meaning, but if you go to the contents, right, it says here, and let me read, the press briefing conducted on October 18, 2024 was not recorded and or stored in a DVD. No video submitted and there was no TSN of the said briefing. And do you confirm now that this note on Feb 5 was actually addressed by the affidavit submitted by Agent Calilong?
What? Come again, sir?
This note was satisfied by the submission of the affidavit by Agent Calilong.
What affidavit, sir?
The affidavit of transcription dated February 3.
But can I see the affidavit, sir?
Yeah.
Para lang sure.
The one that we showed a while ago. It pertains to the same because if you read here, if I may be allowed to read paragraph 1, can you zoom that in? Or no, paragraph 2, it says there, in relation to the ongoing investigation, the undersigned was tasked to transcribe. So this transcribed the screen-recorded video of the press conference of Vp Sara on 18 October 2024. So in other words, this was exactly what the DOJ required, correct?
Yeah, base certification na in-issue, ang sabi ng DOJ, the press briefing conducted in October 18, 2024 was not recorded and was stored in a DVD. There was no TSN of the said briefing and the necessary affidavit of the person taking the TSN.
And yet, on its face, this was, because the date is February 3, on its face, this was executed prior to the Feb 5, 2025 certification, which noted this requirement.
As I've said, Your Honor, ang nag-uusap po dyan ng prosecutor at saka si Agent Calilong, may mga attachment ho kasi nung first affidavit na hindi napansin ng prosecutor. So,
So,
That's your answer. Okay. So, but the thing is, if I let's go back to the IDF, investigation data form. Now, the docket number that is indicated here is XVI INV 25C -0008. But in the Feb 5 2025 certification, can we flash that? The docket number is different, appears to be different. It's XVI eval -INV -25A -0049. Moreover, in the subsequent DOJ certification dated Feb 14, 2025, the docket number is also XVI.eval-INV-25A -0049. Do you confirm the difference in the docket numbers?
Your Honor, no personal knowledge and DOJ ho ang naglagay ng docket number niyan.
But do you confirm that it was different? These are all received copies.
ask an answer, Your Honor, please. Ask an answer, argumentative.
No, the question, the answer is
Ask
not
and answers,
responsive.
counsel. Move on.
So in other words, despite the discrepancy in numbers, you still decided to push through with the case.
What, Your Honor?
Despite the discrepancy in docket numbers, you still decided to push through with the handling of this case, correct?
Again, I cannot confirm on the numbers because it's the DOJ who placed that number, sir. Ulitin ko ho, mas maganda ho tanungin nyo ang Department of Justice, sir. Chan.
But insofar as you are concerned, as you are the complainant in this case, correct? Insofar as you are concerned, what is the correct docket number? Is it the one ending in 0049?
I will now object.
Or
I will
is
now
it the
object.
one ending in 004? What
I
they
will-
used, Your Honor?
I will now object on the ground of misleading. You showed two docket numbers which appear different. And you have yet to establish that there is a wrong one and a correct one. And you have not established that. This witness said he is not aware of that. You have not established that there is something to be corrected. That's why the objection now, Your Honor, please. That's misleading. You assume that something is wrong that has to be corrected. Misleading.
Counsel, witness is not competent to answer your question. He already responded that this is a DOJ form, but he is not aware, and that it might be proper to ask the DOJ instead at the proper time. Move on with another point, counsel. I think we've unless there's another inconsistency, you can move on to another inconsistency or another point.
Your Honor, just one last on this point. But in terms of what you followed, because as we know, you submit subsequent pleadings as to these two docket numbers. Which one did you follow? The 00048 or the 0049?
Well, I don't have the record here, Your Honor. If I can check my own record.
Do you have it with
Can
you
you do
now?
that now?
Counsel, can you give him a copy of his record?
Yung full record. Tingnan ko. Yeah. tsaka lang.
The chair finds that relevant because in filing additional pleadings or other materials to the DOJ, they need to indicate the NPS number for reference. So which one are you following? Which one did you follow subsequent to this?
Yes, sir. February. Wala dito ah. Ito ba? Well, wala ho rito, sir. Teka. Ang naalala ko, sir, yung sa investigation data form, dated February 11.
Ano pong nakalagay na NPS docket number doon? Meron po ba?
Yun po, sir, ang hindi ko, Your Honor, hindi ko po ma-confirm kung anong NPS docket number. Ito ba yun? Teka, saan nag-PS ito?
Your Honor, may we just manifest for the record that the witness is perusing the IDF investigation data form that is attached to the articles of impeachment, Annex D9.
So noted.
Well, this is the document from the defense, Your Honor. I cannot confirm, Your Honor. As of the
Move on,
moment, I
counsel.
cannot confirm.
But this is as received, correct? So in other words, you just received the document and you didn't bother to
Argumentative.
To check.
Objection.
Counsel, let him finish, but indeed it is argumentative. Move on to the next question, counsel. With the permission of Senator Judge Tulfo, are you winding up or not yet, counsel? Not yet?
far from it, Your Honor.
Then Senator Judge Tulfo is recognized. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Tulfo?
Just manifestation.
You may
Mr.
proceed, sir.
Presiding Judge. And question as well. Mr. Witness,
You have 2 minutes.
okay. Mr. Witness, a lot of questions were asked to you regarding the filing with the Office of the DOJ, in particular, regarding the docketing, dating, subscription for an investigation data form. Now, can you tell this court what exactly is your role and what did you do in relation to the filing of this investigation data form? Ano yung pinaka-role mo talaga dito?
I
Yung
instruct-
papel mo talaga rito?
Yes, Your Honor. I instructed the executive officers as well as the agent on case to file our referral to the Department of Justice. So sila na ho ang nag-ayos niyan, sir, insofar as the investigation data form, insofar as other requirements. Ang instruction ko is comply with the requirement given by the Department of Justice, and then you submit it, and then kung ano yung kanilang guidance, you comply with it.
Okay, Mr. Presiding Judge, in my humble opinion, I think the errors in the investigation data form should be answered by the receiving office, and I think he's not, hindi siya talaga yung dapat sumagot sa mga katanungan na ibinabato sa kanya ngayon. Mukhang hindi siya really that qualified at sumasablay-sablay tong taon to. Thank you.
Noted. Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo, thereafter Senator Judge Alan Cayetano.
Quick question, Mr. Presiding Officer, to the witness and
You
to
have 2
the
minutes, sir.
prosecution or prosecutor here. Mr. Witness, kailan ba talaga final itong kaso laban kay VP?
Yung una na affidavit po, Your Honor, nag-file kami January 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Taon po, anong taon?
2025, sir.
2025.
And then nag-require po ang Department of Justice ng compliance dahil sabi nga nila nung una na certification insufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation and must be referred for a case build-up. Now, ang ginawa po namin, kinumply po namin yung kanilang mga requirements. And then, come 11 February 2025, niresubmit po namin yung aming affidavit of investigation, Your Honor.
Nasaan na po itong kaso? Naisampa na po ba ng DOJ o hindi pa?
I think ongoing po ang preliminary investigation.
1 year, preliminary. 1 year, over 1 year. January to January is 1, February, March, April, May, June, July. Is that normal for the DOJ to conduct a preliminary about over a year, Mr. Witness?
Di ko po masasagot, sir.
Hindi ninyo
Sorry po.
masagot. Could it be, hindi po kayo nagtatanong sa kanila, Sir, ano problema? Bakit hindi po pa naisasampa sa korte yung aming isinampang kaso dito sa inyo? Hindi ko kayo nagtataka?
Ang alam ko, sir, Your Honor.
No, hindi kayo nagtanong po sa kanila kung bakit? May kulang pa po ba DOJ? Ano pong kakulangan?
Pag ang referral po, Your Honor, is nasa DOJ na, hands off na ho kami doon. Sila ho ang magde-decide noon kung paano nila ipoprocess yung dokumento.
Kaya nga, hindi po kayo nagtataka. Hindi kaya, sir, dito sa mga nakita po natin mga ebidensya rito, mukhang sablay-sablay, parang minadali ho ninyo. Ay kaya nagkakaproblema ho tayo sa mga korte natin na i-dismiss sa mga kaso dahil kulang ang mga dokumento at parang minadali. But nevertheless, you don't have to answer me that. Let me direct my question now to the prosecutors. Mr. Prosecutor,
Yes.
ito po mga ebidensya na nakita ho natin, hindi pa ninyo ni-review na may mga nakita, hindi nyo nakita itong inconsistencies. Doon nga po sa sinasabi ng defense na pinirmahan, sinubscribe, pero mas maaga yung nga pagtanggap.
Your Honor, as to whether we perused that, Your Honor, please, unfortunately, we were not party to the preparation of this.
No, but this was
documents.
submitted
Yes, Your Honor.
as evidence, right?
Yes, Your Honor, please. Yes, Your Honor, please. That's why this
Pero-
witness is more than competent to answer that. But the main point of the prosecution, Your Honor, please, they already filed and complied with these requirements and addressed these defects, if you may, by filing a February 10, 2025 affidavit investigation. That's why, if you have observed our good Senator Judge, we have been objecting as to the relevance of this. Exactly because what is in contention now is the latest affidavit of investigation that is now pending before the DOJ, Your Honor, please.
All right. And just a quick manifestation to the NBI. Mr. Witness, next time po pag nagsampa ho kayo ng kaso, make sure, kaya nga I was asking you kanina, I already have this feeling something is wrong. Dahil sobrang tagal na sa DOJ ng kaso ninyo. There's something wrong with the case. Siguro po, next time, make sure na yung kaso isasampa ninyo is airtight. Tama po. Kasi madidismiss yan. Yung mga kaso na medyo hindi po tight talaga ang kaso. Ano po?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sayang naman yung inyong pinaghirapan. Doon, ang dami natin nakita. Totoo po lang na nagmura ang vice-presidente, nagbanta ang vice-presidente. Sa ngayon naman po ako, nakita ko naman po yun. Pero pagdating po yan, usually pag sa technicalities tayo nagkakaproblema. Don't forget that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Quick manifestation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Noted, Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Less than 2 minutes, quick clarification lang. So January 30, yung unang affidavit of investigation.
Yes,
Tama?
sir.
January 30, tapos February 5, yun yung sagot ng DOJ na may 7 notes.
Yes, Your Honor.
At February 5, yun din ang filing nung impeachment complaint against against Vice President Sara Duterte. And then, which you said wala kang knowledge doon. I'm just looking at the dates. Then February 10, yung revised na dun sa mga ang ginamit ng DOJ word insufficiency, yung 1 to 7 na punuan, no? Or whatever the term is. So, ang sagot ng witness, sir, sagot mo yung February 3, baka attachment lang kasi nung una yon.
Yes, sir. I think so, sir.
Pero hindi siya pwedeng attachment nung una kasi January 30 sinubmit yun eh. So hindi ka naman pwede mag-submit ng January 30 na attachment mo February 3. So you went 3 days into or 4 days into the future kasi may 31 yung January.
Well, sir, siguro ang makakasagot po niyan si Agent Calilong, sir, since
Okay,
siya ang
yeah.
signatory doon.
I don't think you can answer it. Point ko lang, hindi logical na it was an attachment sa January 30 because wala pang February 3 nun eh. So hindi pwedeng post-dated affidavit. Second question lang, sa parehong investigative affidavit of investigation na sinubmit, walang input doon ang PSG, ISAF, PSC, ISAF, CIDG. So kayo lang yon.
A statement, Your Honor, yung in-attach po namin.
Yes. So what I meant is that questions kanina nung many here, including the Senate President Win Gatchalian, na did you consult the investigation ng PSC, etc. So nung final nyo to, walang input directly or indirectly ang Presidential Security Command, ang ISAF, ang PNP, CIDG, and anyone else, the National Security Council. So purely NBI to.
No personal knowledge kung merong correspondence ng ibang agency with the director.
Sorry, hindi kayo pwedeng walang personal kasi ikaw nag-file eh. Ikaw nakapirma dun sa affidavit. So you would know whether dun sa affidavit na yon they had input or not. No
Yes,
one
Your
else
Honor.
could know because you're the one who signed it.
Yes, Your Honor. Insofar as the Cybercrime Division is concerned, kami po yun yung gumawa
Yes.
noon.
So the answer is they had no input.
Hindi ko alam kung... well, insofar as the affidavit is concerned, amin po yun, Your Honor. Now, kung correspondence between other agencies and the NBI, hindi ko na po alam kung may usapan
Okay.
yung
Thank you.
director
Thank you,
at saka ibang
Mr. Presiding Officer. Thank you.
Po.
Thank you, Senator Judge Cayetano, Senator Judge Ontiveros, thereafter Senator Judge Ejercito. Am I correct, JV? Senator Judge Ontiveros is recognized. You may proceed. You have 2 minutes, ma'am.
Salamat po, Mr. Presiding Officer. Less than 2 minutes din po. Attorney Lotok, sa gitna nung DOJ certification dated February 5, 2025 at yung pag-submit nyo ng kumpletong affidavit of investigation na tinanggap na ng DOJ, may nagbago po ba sa di umanong sinabi ng Vice Presidente?
Wala po, Your Honor.
Wala. At sa gitna ng DOJ certification dated February 5, 2025 at yung pag-submit nyo ng kumpletong affidavit of investigation na tinanggap na ng DOJ, may nagbago po ba sa rekomendasyon ng NBI?
Wala po, Your Honor.
Salamat po, Attorney Lotok. Salamat po, Mr.
Thank you,
Presiding
Senator
Officer.
Judge Ontiveros. Senator Judge Ejercito, you may proceed, sir. When you're ready, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Attorney Lotok, may
Opo, Your Honor.
dagdag clarification lang. The DOJ pointed out in its certification, yung pong pinakita kanina, noong February 5, 2025, that the NBI is not the proper offended party to file a complaint for grave threats and referred its initial referral for case build-up. As a result of the referral for case build-up by the DOJ, did the NBI later submit affidavits or statements from the offended parties, namely si Presidente Marcos, First Lady, at si former Speaker Martin Romualdez?
Hindi na po, Your Honor. Nung sinabit ho namin yung aming referral, yun po yung last phase ng investigation. And I think yung prosecutor na ho mag-i-issue ng summon sa mga parties involved. Ang purpose lang ho namin to comply with the requirements of preliminary investigation po.
But earlier sa inyo pong statement, sinabi nyo na ang isa sa mga factors no sa pag-evaluate ng threat, if it is really serious, is through determination of the relationship no between the parties. Sinabi niyo po yun kanina.
Yes po, Your Honor.
So did you try at least to get the statements of the President, the First Lady, or the House of or the Speaker of the House, former Speaker?
Ang pinagbasihan po namin, Your Honor, yung official statement nila dun sa website ng Presidential Communications Office, and then yung public statement ng former Speaker during the plenary session on November 25, 2024, sir.
So that was the basis yung pong nasa PCO website. So you did not bother to get the statements from the offended parties?
I think nung nakita ko namin yung video na nag-issue ng statement yung presidente, na-establish namin yung requirement kung ano yung treatment ng presidente nung marinig niya yung utterances ng vice presidente. So, nung nakita namin yon na may reaksyon, ang sabi nga niya is nakakabahala. Based sa aming primary jurisdiction, nag-start to kami ng investigation, sir.
Kanina rin, tinanong ko yung tungkol doon sa revised affidavit of investigation, no? Which you submitted after the DOJ referred to the case for case build-up in its certification doon nga sa February 5, 2025. You mentioned that is just a compliance on the part of the NBI.
Your Honor, ito ho yung part ng evaluation at saka case build-up process. Pag nakita ho ng prosecutor na may kulang pang mga attachment para ho mabuo, maging pulido yung kaso, nagbibigay ho sila ng mga requirement. O NBI, kulang ka nito, i-comply mo to para maidakit natin sa preliminary investigation.
So normal lang po yun, no? Sa investigation agency na magsabit ng additional evidence or revise the affidavits after the case is referred back by the DOJ for case build-up.
As part po ng evaluation at case builder process, nagtutulungan ho dyan, Your Honor, yung prosecutor and then yung investigator base doon sa requirement ng DC-15, Your Honor.
You mentioned that, last point, Mr. Presiding Officer, you mentioned that the case before the DOJ is still ongoing.
Yes po.
So as of today, Attorney Lotok, there is still no determination by the DOJ if the case referred by the NBI should be filed in court because there is prima facie evidence of reasonable certainty of conviction.
Well, Your Honor, wala po kaming nare-receive na any updates from the Department of Justice. Ang alam po namin is nasa PI pa ho siya, preliminary investigation process, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney Lotok. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you po, Your Honor.
Noted and entered into the records. Attorney Binluan, you may continue with your cross.
Your Honor, I believe that there's a hanging question. Insofar as the NBI is concerned, what docket number did they follow? 00048 or 0049?
What's the response of the witness if he knows?
Your Honor, I don't have the complete affidavit. So I cannot confirm, sir.
So you do not know what NPS docket number the NBI is using whenever it files subsequent pleadings to the NBI to the DOJ regarding this case?
Definitely there is that IDF, there is that NPS. Hindi ko lang po, Your Honor, ma-ensure kung anong NPS number po yon.
Ang ginagamit ninyo?
Ang ginamit. Pero nandoon po yon, Your Honor, naka-attach po yon sa affidavit of investigation.
Proceed, counsel.
So you cannot confirm which between the two.
As of the moment, hindi ko po hawak yung...
Yeah, but what if we show you, as I said,
What if we show you the certification dated February, two certification, can you be guided?
Ask an answer, Your Honor.
Counsel, he already
what's-
looked at the
what's the
documents earlier before the senator judges intervened, and he couldn't. With Mr. Witness, Mr. Attorney Lotok, what document did you peruse earlier? The annex to the impeachment complaint, right?
Annex to the...
That was the document shown to you by counsel for the respondent earlier.
yes, Your Honor.
Upon your perusal of that document, can you say what the NPS docket number is that NBI uses?
Your Honor, isa lang ho ang nandito na IDF. So isa lang yun nandito, Your Honor. Hindi ko makita yung isa pa. Ang nandito na naka-attach na IDF is yung 11 February 2025. So kung ito ho ang tinutukoy, ang nakasulat ho rito na NPS docket number 16-INV-25C-00048, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the certifications, the two certification also has docket numbers. Can we just ask him to peruse this so that he can make up his mind which of the two docket numbers they followed?
Then confront him with the document, counsel.
Your Honor, we are showing-
What is your co-counsel showing him?
We are showing the document February 5 and February 14, which as I mentioned, contains 0049 as the ending docket number. Maybe just know, Your Honor, if that was the docket number that was followed by the NBI following the filing.
Counsel,
I have-
counsel, before you answer, Attorney Loto, counsel, the first form, can you bring it up again? That's not an investigation form, right? That's a DOJ form.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is a receiving copy, Your Honor, because all of these were subpoenaed again from the NBI but not from the DOJ. So these were transmitted to the House Committee on Justice by subpoena. So
By
in other,
who? The NBI?
submitted by the NBI. That's correct, Your Honor. And this was the basis that was used by the House Committee on Justice in filing the articles of impeachment before this impeachment court. So in other words, Your Honor, the agencies involved herein are just four: the DOJ, the NBI, the House Committee on Justice, and the Senate. And the line of questioning is very simple. We want to get to know to the bottom of the truth. Were these documents altered? If at all. If at all. If at
There's
all.
no basis for saying it's altered. Counsel, Attorney Lotok, what is your observation?
Yes, Your Honor. Isa lang ho yung nandito na IDF. Uulitin ko po, Your Honor, mayroon na ho ditong NPS docket number at yung date po is 11 February 2025, sir.
At yung isa,
Yung isa, yung sa certification, Your Honor, yung
hindi siya IDF.
hindi siya IDF.
That's
sir.
what I was asking about earlier.
So, ang certification ho ang pinapakita sa akin, Your Honor. Hindi po IDF na isa.
We're trying to show the Feb 14, the latest certification for the revised affidavit of investigation, Your Honor. So did you follow that docket number? Considering that according to you, that is the latest certification that you received from the DOJ.
Your Honor, yung nandito na pinapakita sa akin is yung certification from the DOJ 05 February 2025 and investigation data form dated February 11, 2025.
So which is which, Attorney Lotok? Is it 00049 or 48? The earlier one or the late?
I have here the second the second certification from the DOJ which says sufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation, reference number 16 -eval-inv 25A-00049, sir.
So the 49 is the latest one and is thus valid. Is
Yeah,
that
I
what
believe
you're
so.
saying?
Ito yung may sufficient for
All right. Okay. Now, let me direct your attention to the subpoena issued against the Vice President on April 29, 2025. This is the subpoena. And the issue is that the docket number is 0048. In other words, the VP Sara was made to answer to the earlier case that was docketed as such. Do you confirm this? You were part of this, correct? As the complainant.
Your Honor, can I object now, Your Honor, please? If I may, Your Honor, please.
What's the objection?
If I may, I will explain.
May-
Your Honor, I would like to object, Your Honor, please. This witness is incompetent because he is now being confronted with docket numbers supplied by agencies other than him.
If he knows, Your Honor,
That's
he was
exactly-
the complainant. Your Honor, he
Counsel-
was the supervising agent. It
Counsel,
says there
this is a
complaint-
DOJ document. Objection is sustained. Witness is not competent to answer these questions. You can call your witness to testify as to these documents belonging to the DOJ. Kindly move on, counsel. We've been at this for quite some
I'll
time.
move on. My next question is, the NBI's own evaluation is merely recommendatory in nature, correct?
yes, Your Honor, recommendation.
Okay. It is not binding upon the DOJ, correct?
The DOJ will assess, Your Honor, and evaluate.
All right.
the
But it's not
recommendation.
binding upon the DOJ.
No,
Kindly
the-
answer the question,
All right.
Attorney Lotok. You're a lawyer. You know the answer to this question.
yes, sir.
It's not binding upon the courts, correct?
If the DOJ
Your
report-
recommendation, it's not binding upon the courts, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in Filipino, para maintindihan ng lahat, kahit sabihin ng NBI,
Ask and answered, Your Honor. Ask and answered.
Kahit
He's just
sabihin ng
translating
NBI na may
into
grave-
objection.
The-
He's just translating
the question
into,
is not yet-
but the same question.
all right,
kahit sabihin ng NBI na may grave threats or inciting to sedition, it is not binding upon the DOJ, correct?
Asked and answered.
The question earlier was with respect to the courts.
Correct, Your Honor.
Insofar as the DOJ is concerned, Mr. Witness.
Insofar as the DOJ is concerned, the DOJ will evaluate and pag kulang pa ho yung mga
The
requirements.
question is are your findings binding on the DOJ?
Not necessary, Your Honor.
So no.
No. All right. So in other words, rekomendasyon lang ang kayang ibigay ng NBI, correct?
Asked and answered.
Asked and answered,
All right.
counsel.
In fact, you attended hearings before the House Committee on Justice in April of this year, correct?
I think so. Nag-appear ako.
You
Hindi ko lang
appeared,
sigurado
okay.
kung anong date yun.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would like to object to this, Your Honor, please. Your Honor, this
Asked and
witness-
answered, Your Honor.
No, wait.
Can I move on
He's
to
being
a new point?
confronted
Counsel,
with...
kindly wait for the
Your
counsel.
Honor, this
for
is
the
highly
prosecutor.
improper. This could fly if this is a committee of justice hearing, but this, with all due respect, is still a court of law. You cannot present clippings like that and confront the witness with that. That's not proper. You should be presenting documents. You cannot do props. Your Honor, please, this is highly irregular. Ask questions. Elicit facts from this witness. Don't use props.
Can I get a ruling on that, Your Honor? Because this
Counsel
is for the purpose of...
is not yet
Correct.
asking any question. He's just laying the basis by asking if he attended previous hearings in the House to test the credibility, perhaps to elicit either contradictory statements or confirmatory statements. Counsel, please proceed.
And one of the committee members there, I think it was Representative Sendanya, even asked for the elements of inciting to sedition. Do you recall that?
I think so, sir.
He also asked for the elements of grave threats, correct?
Yeah, if I remember it right, hindi ho ako ang tinanong yata.
All right.
Sir.
It was another person, but also from
Yeah.
the NBI, correct?
I think so, sir.
All right. And the NBI explained the elements of these felonies during that hearing, correct?
Hindi ho ako ang nag-explain noon.
But
sir.
another person from the NBI did, and you were present, correct?
I think so, sir.
In fact, Representative Luistro even asked that the salient portions of your affidavit of investigation be flashed on the screen during that hearing, correct? If you can recall.
Siguro yun, Honor, pero di ko maalala.
You're not sure. Okay, that's okay. And when asked whether VP Sara's acts constituted grave threats and inciting to sedition, the NBI answered in the affirmative, correct?
Yeah, I think so, sir.
Okay. Now, my next question is very simple. Did the NBI at any point in that hearing clarify with the House Committee on Justice and the Filipino people watching then that its own evaluation is not binding upon the DOJ? Did you clarify?
I don't think wala akong tanong na ganon sa amin, sir.
So you were not able to clarify that, correct?
Wala ko kasing tanong.
Okay.
Anong ika-clarify ko,
Okay.
sir?
So you were not given an opportunity to clarify
Ask
that
ka
your
lang, sir.
own evaluation, this is a different question. Wait for the question. That is not binding upon the courts. So was there an opportunity for you to explain that it was not binding upon the courts?
Wala akong question doon
All
sa
right.
amin, sir.
So in other words, there was no opportunity in that hearing to clarify that your evaluation was mere recommendatory.
Ask and answered, Your Honor, please. 4 times over.
No, the first
Same
question was
point.
binding upon the DOJ. The next question is binding upon the courts. The next question is the nature of the recommendation. Did you clarify at any point in that hearing that your recommendation was merely recommendatory?
Question was, did they clarify or not? Answer kindly, Attorney Latok.
Wala pong question sa amin na ganon, sir. So, wala akong kaming na-clarify doon.
Very well. Let's do that now. For the benefit of this honorable court and the Filipino people watching, when the NBI evaluated VP Sara's acts to be grave threats or inciting to sedition, is that binding upon the DOJ?
Your Honor, ask and answered. This is now
Counsel-
the third circle.
Already asked and answered several times.
I'll move on, Your Honor. Will you agree with me that according to our laws, the authority to determine guilt or innocence of a person lies with the courts,
Yes, sir.
not with the DOJ?
Yes, sir.
Not with the NBI.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor,
Sir-
I will now object now, Your Honor, please.
Your Honor,
if I
he's
may explain,
competent
Your Honor,
enough to answer. Your Honor, he already
I may-
answered.
Counsel, kindly settle down. I know it's late and I know both parties are
Can
tired.
I-
Kindly wait for the chair to recognize you before speaking.
If I may be recognized, Your Honor,
Yes,
please. I am
Attorney
now
Ligudan.
objecting on the ground of relevance of this series of questions. The defense might forget that we are an impeachment court. Okay? And whatever the DOJ may rule on, whatever the court may rule on, the same complaints filed by the NBI against the Vice President, it has no bearing to these impeachment complaints. What I'm saying is, the issues in this case, the question is, did the Vice President betray public trusts? When she declared before the public that she already contracted a
Your Honor,
person-
objection,
Wait,
Ibon
wait, wait,
Cross,
wait,
Your
wait.
Honor.
I'm
This is
yet
not the
done.
proper venue for
I
any
was-
manifestation on the part of the
Let the
prosecution.
counsel finish. Kindly state your objection, counsel.
Relevance, exactly, Your Honor, please, as to what the court will do, as to what the DOJ will do on the complaints filed by the DOJ, by the NBI, they have nothing to do with the issue in this case. The question is whether the Vice President betrayed public trust by contracting an assassin to kill the President, the Vice President, to kill the President, the First Lady, and the former
Objection
State
again,
House.
Your Honor. It's not the
Irrelevant, Your Honor,
proper-
please. Irrelevance.
Counsel, you know what you're doing as well. So kindly limit it to your objection.
Irrelevant, Your Honor, please.
Counsel for the respondent, the court gets it. Okay, you don't have to spend that much time on this matter. The court gets it, and I think the senator judges are well aware of the limitations of the power of the NBI and the DOJ, as well as the power of the court to decide on the innocence or guilt of the parties. You've established that point. Move on.
In other words, it is only the proper courts that can determine the guilt or innocence of VP Sara in terms of
Same.
grave threats or inciting to
Counsel,
sedition. It's a direct question, Your Honor.
Counsel, all asked and answered. Kindly move on. Kindly move on, counsel. Again, the court gets it. I think the senator judges get it as well as the people who are listening.
All right. My question is this. Are you aware of any final verdict by any court that VP Sara is
Same.
guilty?
Same, Your Honor. Same.
If he is aware.
Witness will answer if he knows.
Well, insofar as the NBI Cybercrime Division is concerned, during that time, I'm not aware.
So, insofar as this case is concerned, no final verdict yet.
I don't know, Your Honor. I don't know. Insofar as the investigation of the NBI is concerned,
All right.
no personal knowledge.
All right. Now, let me move on to a new point. Do you know what motu proprio means?
Yes, Your Honor.
Motu proprio means on your own or out of your own initiative, correct?
Yes, sir.
Sa madaling salita, voluntary.
Not really, sir.
Oh, not really. Wala nagutos.
Under the law, we acted based on the law, sir. Because it is our primary jurisdiction to undertake investigation should there be a threat against the security or assault against the person of the President, the Vice President, the Senate President, the Speaker of the House, and the Chief Justice.
Very well. Now, my question is this. Insofar as this case is concerned, did the NBI conduct an investigation motu proprio?
Yes, Your Honor. The fact, kanino ho, Your Honor, yung sinatanong nyo? Conduct an investigation, kanino po?
Insofar as this case is concerned, did you conduct a case motu proprio?
Your Honor, the NBI conducted an investigation motu proprio on November 23, 2024. And on that same date, Your Honor, the Department of Justice directed the NBI to conduct an investigation on the matter.
So, partly motu proprio, partly directed by the DOJ. Is that what you're saying?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. With or without the directive from the DOJ, the NBI has primary jurisdiction on that case, and therefore we can investigate on that particular case.
Yeah, but a while ago, during your direct examination, you admitted that the DOJ secretary directed you, correct?
During that day, yes, sir. After na ma-instruct ako ng direktor na mag-imbestiga, then thereafter, the Department of Justice directed the NBI na mag-conduct ng investigation.
And did you follow that directive?
Well, it's the Department of Justice. Why should not I follow, sir?
Aren't you an independent body?
Well, Your Honor, under the law, Republic Act 10867, it states there that the Department of Justice can direct the NBI to conduct any investigation when the public interest so requires, sir.
Okay, so the NBI is under the DOJ, correct?
Definitely, sir.
And the DOJ is under the Office of the President, correct?
Yes, sir, under the executive branch, sir.
Meaning the Secretary of the DOJ is under the Office of the President, correct?
No question to that, sir.
No question. So BBM has control over both the NBI and the DOJ, correct?
What do you mean by control, sir?
What's your interpretation of control? You seem to be a smart man.
The Department of Justice and the Office of the President, insofar as the function of the NBI is concerned, hindi ho sila nakikialam doon. Kung ano ho yung findings ng NBI, kung ano ang recommendation, sinasubmit po namin ito sa Department of Justice. And then yung Department of Justice, i-weigh po nila, i-evaluate po nila, and then mag-undergo ng process ng case build-up. Yun ho ang patunay na yung una naming sinubmit, hindi tinanggap ng Department of Justice, meaning ang Department of Justice, pag nakita niya na hindi tama o kulang yung requirement ng NBI, hindi niya ito kararakang tatanggapin, Your Honor. That's why, insofar as the DC-15 is concerned, nag-require sila ng mga i-comply namin, and then nag-comply kami. That's the time ni-receive ng Department of Justice yung aming referral.
Oh, very well. Just to help you answer, I'll ask a more pointed question. At the time the investigation against VP Sara was being conducted, did BBM had control over the NBI or DOJ?
At the time the investigation?
Yes.
Well, being the head of the executive branch, sir, yes, the president is the head of the whole of the executive branch, sir.
Very well. Did BBM at any point intervene in this investigation?
Of course not, sir.
Of course not. So did you just admit to this court that there was no participation on the part of BBM?
Again, the purpose of the submission of the affidavit is
No,
for
the
preliminary
question is very
investigation,
simple.
sir.
Can we ask Your Honor
Allow the
that
witness to answer. Witness is in the process.
The purpose of the referral that we submitted to the Department of Justice is for the purpose of preliminary investigation, which under the new rules of the NPS, pwede ho ang law enforcement agency na mag-submit ng complaint affidavit kahit wala yung affidavit ng complainant for purposes of preliminary investigation. So the complaint from the President is not an indispensable requirement insofar as the preliminary investigation is concerned by the DOJ, sir.
So let me clarify. You received instructions to conduct an investigation against VP Sara from the DOJ, which is under the Office of the President, and the investigation, in that investigation, BBM was allegedly one of the offended parties.
Again, Your Honor, hindi ho ako nakatanggap ng
Wait,
direktiba
there's no
from-
question yet. There's no question yet. And yet, BBM has control over both the NBA and the DOJ.
Your Honor,
Is that a fair summation?
Your Honor, now, I will not object now. Ask and answer. Same point, Your Honor, please. Many times over, control of the President over the DOJ, control of the DOJ over the NBI. Ask and answer
All right.
many times over.
Considering the structure involving the NBI, the DOJ, and the Office of the President, don't you think that there was bias against VP Sara?
Ooh. I will allow that.
We
I will not object, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Counsel again,
our-
kindly wait for the presiding officer to recognize you. Witness may answer.
our investigation, Your Honor, is evidence-based. Nung pinag-usapan ho namin ito, nung ina-analyze ho namin ito, nung nag-follow kami ng mga phases at analysis, we believe and we agree that among ourselves na buo ang ebidensya, kompleto ang ebidensya, na comply natin yung requirement ng prima facie case, with reasonable certainty of conviction. And so sinubmit ho namin yan sa DOJ na ang paniwala po namin ay kumpleto ho at na-comply namin yung requirement
All right. Either way,
ng kaso.
okay. Either way, the NBI can initiate its own investigation when necessary, correct?
The NBI can initiate its own
In
investigation.
fact, you mentioned RA 10867, correct?
Yes, sir.
And please allow me to read Section 5G thereof. It says cases involving threats to security or assaults against the President, the Vice President, Senate President, Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. You confirm this, correct?
Yes, sir.
My next question to you is this. While you conducted a motu proprio investigation to help BBM, FL, and the former speaker, did you also conduct a motu proprio investigation to help VP Sara?
Yes, Your Honor. The fact that we sent a December 2, 2024 letter, we informed the Vice President na iniimbestigahan din namin yung alleged threat laban sa kanya. So kailangan namin makakuha ng valid information, confirmed data or any apparent violation of our revised penal code or any
Alright.
special law. You know yung ang purpose ng letter namin, Your Honor, to inform the Vice President na iniimbestigahan din namin yung alleged threat laban
Your
sa
Honor,
kanya.
it's a yes or no answer. Can we ask the...
Mr. Witness, Attorney Lotok, this is the second time you've mentioned your December 2 subpoena. So, the curiosity of the presiding officer has been picked. In your subpoena of December 2, you issued a subpoena to the Vice President for evidence in a certain investigation. No mention was made of either the investigation pertaining to threats against the President or even threats against the Vice President. But it's the second time you've mentioned that the intent of this one is for the threat against the Vice President. What is your basis, sir? When the subpoena does not contain such a specification of the evidence you will obtain from her?
Your Honor, yung subpoena, nakafocus po yan doon sa investigation namin on the alleged grave threats at inciting to sedition during that time. Yung investigation naman, insofar as the Vice President threat to her life is concerned, meron nung kaming separate na letter nung December 2.
Hindi subpoena, letter.
Letter po.
Do we have that on file or on record
Yes, sir.
somewhere?
Yes, Your Honor. It was
Is it the pre-marked
Perfect.
marked during trial or earlier, Your Honor,
by Agent Calilong?
by this witness, Attorney Lotok. That would be P-Roman numeral 4-5, identified by the witness earlier, Your Honor, please.
P-4-5,
Dash 4-5.
Oh, mami.
addressed to Attorney Lim? Attorney Lotok?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor. Your Honor, I have questions relating to that, Your Honor. Can we...
Just to clarify from the witness, are you referring, Attorney Lotok, to the letter addressed to Attorney Lim, signed by Assistant Director Ricarte?
Yes, Your Honor. Assistant Director.
This is the one that's referring to the alleged attempt of NBI to investigate the threats against the Vice President.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. Counsel, you may proceed.
All right. In fact, since we're on the topic, let me direct your attention to that NBI letter issued by Glenn Ricarte dated December 2, 2024. Again, for the perusal of the senator judges, this is pages 155 to 158 of the AOI's Annex G9. You confirm this? That this was sent out to the Vice President?
This is, we have this document, Your Honor, signed by AD Glenn Ricarte, dated 02 December 2024.
All right. And
Sir.
do you confirm that the date is December 2, 2024?
Based on this document, sir, yes.
All right. Let me read, and read with me, please, the last two paragraphs. And I'll be very I'll try to be very clear. It says here, we are hoping that we have assisted you properly. Can we flash that, please? Baba pa. Yan, sa baba. Yeah, we are hoping that we have assisted you properly. We would be grateful if the Vice President will visit the NBI and participate on the ongoing investigation. As the schedule of her appearance, she is anticipated to appear on, can you read the date, please?
11 November 2024 at 10 a.m. at the Office of the Director, National Bureau of Investigation.
So you provided the date, you provided the time and the place where VP Sara is supposed to appear, correct?
Your Honor, this
So
is
the answer is very simple.
since
Just ask
ang
it.
nakasign po rito yung Assistant Director and wala akong personal knowledge, I think this is typo kasi nga nag-reply ang lawyer ng Vice Presidente.
Attorney Lotok, either you have personal knowledge or not, but neither can you say typo. If you don't have personal knowledge, you cannot say typo.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, Your Honor.
So which is it?
I believe
So you don't have personal
I don't have
knowledge?
personal knowledge, Your Honor. Hindi po ako ang
Okay.
sumulat sa letter na to.
Okay.
Again, Your Honor, this is an attachment of the affiant's or the witness's own affidavit of investigation. I understand, Your Honor, and he has been very repetitive on this, that there are documents there that he did not sign. But when you attach something to your own affidavit, Your Honor, you're supposed to at least review them. And clearly, he did not review, and he's even the head. He mentioned that he's the supervisor.
Objection.
Now, my
Your
next
Honor.
question is
Objection. Laying a value to the testimony of the witness. That's improper. You ask him questions. Don't add value. Don't
Kindly
add
ask
value.
a question, counsel.
You stated a while ago that the reason why you did not pursue VP Sara's investigation in order to help her was because of her non-appearance, correct?
We issued 2 subpoenas. The first one, and then
No, I'm not asking
we give her a
you.
chance again to give us information, and then she did not appear for the second time, sir.
But you said the second one was not a subpoena, it was a letter, correct?
Well, the letter is the basis that we conducted motu proprio investigation on the alleged threat against the Vice President. The purpose of the 2 subpoena is also base sa usapan namin ng then Director Jaime B. Santiago. Pag nag-appear ang Vice Presidente, tatanungin din po ng Director namin, Ma'am, pwede mo bang i-share sa amin ano yung threat sa life mo? Baka meron kang information na pwede namin pagsimulan.
Yeah, but
Counsel, allow the presiding officer. Sir, you referred to the letter and the subpoena. As I pointed out earlier, the subpoena does not make mention that you're asking for evidence about the threats against the Vice President. You just said in your subpoena for information regarding what is under investigation by your office. Now, in this letter that you referred to, signed by Assistant Director Ricarte,
Yes, sir.
where can I find that you're asking the Vice President information about the threat against her? You quoted several instances about the Vice President's statement
Can I-
against the President, but I cannot see a reference to the threat against the Vice President. Now you're telling me again that you intended to ask her when she comes.
But if I may answer po, Your
Of
Honor.
course, sir, please.
Thank you. Yes, Your Honor. Kung pwede ko pong basahin.
Please, sir. Kindly guide us po.
Quote, this bureau wishes her well, and we would acknowledge if she can find a convenient time to visit the NBI, since according to her, she received threats on her life as well. As part of its mandate, the NBI would like to inform her that we are also investigating on the said threats. Her appearance to the NBI will aid us in the expeditious investigation on the said threats, Your Honor.
And then this is the basis for the issuance of your 2 subpoenas against her.
Hindi po. Ang dalawang subpoena, Your Honor, is para dun ho sa grave threats and inciting to sedition.
Para doon na po.
Opo, yun po yung purpose ng dalawang subpoena.
Letter lang yung sa kanya tungkol sa threat sa kanya.
Yes po, Your Honor. Letter lang
Bagaman sa
kanya.
sulat na to, binanggit nyo rin yung threat niya laban sa Pangulo. O ibang sulat po yun?
Your Honor, in-explain ho namin dito kasi doon ho sa may letter ho na sinubmit ang lawyer ni VP, nagtatanong ho siya kung pwedeng makakuha ng copy ng complaint. And then kung ano yung mga itinatanong at itatanong ng NBI sa kanya, in-explain ho dito sa letter na to kung ano yung nature ng complaint.
Yung mga allegation laban sa kanya.
Opo, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney Lotok. Counsel, you may proceed.
But the long and short of it, in that December 2024 letter, you provided a November schedule, correct?
Again, I cannot answer to that. Ang signatory ho ang makakasagot, sir.
So in other words, she could not have attended that November 11, 2024 because as of the date of the letter, it was already December 2, 2024, correct?
Well, Your Honor, yung second letter na sinubmit ng lawyer niya, ang sabi nila doon, the Vice President is confident that the NBI will conduct an investigation on the alleged threat against her life.
Yeah, but despite this error, do you still maintain that the investigation that you conducted was thorough? You used that word a while ago.
Investigation on the alleged threat against the Vice
Correct.
President? We are looking, Your Honor, for a validated information, confirmed information para ho meron kaming pagsimulan. But insofar as my office is concerned, since hindi na ho ako may hawak dyan, baka ho merong ibang tinask ang aming director para dyan, sir.
So as early as December 2, 2024, the NBI has been investigating regarding the threats against VP Sara. Correct?
When we issued the first subpoena and then when we issued the letter dated 02 December 2024, ang intention ho namin noon, i-inform namin siya na nag-iimbestiga din kami, ma'am. Kaya lang, kailangan ho namin ng valid at validated information para ho mapagsimulan namin.
Mali lang yung schedule na nabigay doon sa Vice
Again,
President.
wala akong personal knowledge dun sa scheduling, sir.
No, after more than 1.5 years of investigation, has the NBI come up with a recommendation?
We
Ask
said-
and answered, Your Honor. Ask and answered. Kanina pa.
No. Recommendation on the
Witness
threats
may
against
answer.
VP Sara.
Witness may answer.
Withdrawn.
This is the investigation pertaining to the threats against the Vice President's life.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Again, since wala ho kaming validated information, wala ho kaming nakitang confirm doon sa allegation, threats against her life, wala ho kaming mapagsimulan, sir. Wala
So
ho
no,
kaming
that's okay.
mapagsimulan.
Meron din bang affidavit of investigation para kay VP Sara, gaya ng ginawa ng NBI para kay BBM, FL at former speaker?
Since wala ho pa kaming validated information, wala ho kaming mapagsimulan.
So in other words, meron para kay BBM,
Objection.
FL, at there's no question yet, Your Honor.
Yes.
At former speaker, pero wala kay VP Sara.
Argumentative, Your Honor. Argumentative.
That's a
Asked and
factual
answered.
question,
Asked
Your
and
Honor.
answered.
Ask and answered.
Move
Okay.
on, counsel.
If no affidavit of investigation, is there any written report on that investigation?
Anong investigation po, Your Honor?
Yung against VP Sara, may written report man lang ba?
Well, ang makakaalam ho niyan, yung aming intelligence service, sila ho ang may pull up information from different offices.
But as far as you know, wala pang written report on this?
Well, during that time, insofar as the cybercrime investigation is concerned, wala akong nakita na gano'n, sir.
Wala pa.
Nung time na yon,
alright.
sir.
In other words, since wala pang written report, wala pa ring opportunity si VP Sara to supplement any report that you have prepared.
Again, wala akong idea kung mayroon ng written report ang aming intelligence service. Ang alam ko, kung ano lang yung nangyari during nung investigation namin, cybercrime division investigation.
All right, I'll move on to a new point. Now, as an investigating body, the NBI is called to be impartial, correct?
Yes, sir.
Meaning you have to evaluate both sides, not just one side, correct?
What do you mean both sides?
The offending party side and the offended party side.
Yes, sir.
All right. In other words, you evaluate the side of the complainant and you also evaluate the side of the respondent, correct?
Evaluate the side of the complainant. Yes, sir.
So did the NBI do that in its investigation insofar as the case against VP Sara?
Precisely, Your Honor. The reason why we issued a letter dated December 2, 2024
All right.
is to elicit information from the Vice President herself kung meron po bang validated
Yeah.
information
Okay.
or to ask her kung sakaling nag-appear siya, ma'am, baka meron kang pwedeng pagsimulan namin. But again, kahit representative, wala akong may dumating sa amin na magbibigay sa amin ng informasyon para pagsimulan ng investigasyon.
Yeah, but didn't the counsel appear? So she participated through counsel, correct?
The counsel, Your Honor, only stated na yung threat is, again, yung 6 months ago na nung conduct ho kami ng open source investigation, wala ho kaming nakitang validated talaga, sir. So wala kami mapagsimulan. Saan kami magsisimula doon?
Okay. So, to enlighten this honorable court of what really happened during your investigation, you issued subpoenas, correct?
We issued subpoenas, sir, yes.
And several people participated, correct?
Major personalities.
Yes, I will go to that. I'll just answer the question first, yes or no. At least 4 people, correct?
We issued subpoena, yes, sir.
Reyes of Philippine Daily Inquirer attended with counsel. You confirm this?
I think so, sir.
Mendoza of Manila Times also attended with counsel.
It was reported to
Reported to
I
you.
think Magsambol and Reyes.
Yeah, oo.
Yun
Alright.
yung report sa akin ni Agent Kalilong, sir.
How about Rubrico of SMNI?
Yeah, yung 6 ho na yan, as far as I know, na issue namin ng subpoena, I think yung iba dyan, hindi ho nag-appear kasi yung isa nasa China, meron siyang parang
I'm not asking about
understanding.
those. I'm just asking about
The
the
witness is
people
in the
that
process of answering
participated.
the question.
Counsel, witness is in the process of answering. Let him finish. Are you done, Attorney Lotok?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right,
Proceed, counsel.
and these people were interviewed by NBI agents, correct?
By NBI agents, sir.
Okay, the NBI agents included Kalilong, correct?
Yes, sir.
For Magsambol and Reyes, Geran for Mendoza.
Yes, sir. I think.
All right, but Asuncion for Rubrico, correct?
Yes, Assumption also.
All right, and the Q&A was recorded, correct?
Yeah, I think may transcript yata.
All right, very well. After the interviews, the NBI agents executed affidavits, correct?
Yes, sir. They
Attesting
have-
to the interviews conducted.
Yes, sir.
Let's go through the minutes of the meeting attached to the affidavit of investigation. There were 4 sets of minutes of the meeting, correct? 1 for Reyes, 1 for Mendoza, 1 for Magsambol, and 1 for Rubrico. Do you confirm this?
May I check first the document, sir?
Your Honor, may we ask, Your Honor, that my co-counsel confronts the witness, not the prosecution's counsel. This is our turn, Your Honor. And we want to use the official copy, which is the impeachment court's copy, Your Honor. So we don't know what copy the prosecution's lawyer is confronting the witness with.
Counsel will please comply.
Ano yun?
All right. So minutes of the meeting. So there were 4 sets, 1 for Reyes, 1 for Mendoza, 1 for Magsambol, and 1 for Rubrico. Now, based on the minutes of the meeting.
May I check first, sir?
Okay, go ahead.
Reyes. Yeah, them si Reyes. Leave them si Reyes. This is